Just 4 days after the biggest single day of racing in the history of this young promotion, finally the weekly circuit returns here on Thursday nights, as tonight the PGR eSports Intimidator Superspeedway Series is back from Daytona. Back on Sunday afternoon, PGR's biggest race to date took place, the second annual running of the PGR 500. And after 500 miles of twists and turns and underdog stories, Wyatt Gray was crowned the champion of the second annual Great American Sim Race. He joins the ranks of PGR's elite, becoming only the third crown jewel winner in PGR history behind Daniel Falkingham and Malik Ray. Gray now joins those ranks and looks to defend his crown, coming back to the World Center of Racing tonight. Many of the drivers you'll see tonight had good weeks. Many of them raced in Sunday afternoon's 500-mile event. Some of them did not, and are looking to get back to their momentum that they had going into Speed Week. And others are just coming in for the first time. Some debuts tonight in the PGR eSports Intimidator Superspeedway Series. Many of the regulars that you'll remember are here. There are a mix-in of underdog picks as well as drivers making their first ever start on a Thursday. All of that and more over the next couple hours. So we wish you good evening and welcome to this production of the Intimidator Superspeedway Series on the PGR eSports Network. Good evening from Daytona. My name is Dawson Wise. Happy to be with you on the PGR eSports Network tonight as we bring you Thursday night action. We are back to normal, if you will, after an incredible week last week in the PGR 500. It's been a long time coming to get back to the weekly racing that we are so used to here on PGR eSports and on this side of things. Tonight will be different. I will tell you about that format here in just a second. But, of course, I want to talk about last week a little bit more. Of course, you heard me say Wyatt Gray, now the defending PGR 500 champion. One of the upstarts of Monty Racing has finally broken through and gotten the first win for this, what is becoming a new generation of drivers that are working their way up the ladder in the money racing and super speedway scene. Wyatt, the newest big-time winner of that group, proved that that group is ready to win. They're ready to win now. The week featured a lot of great racing. The heats were about as unpredictable as you could ask for. Many of the big names entered in the event did not see elimination Saturday. They went home in their heat races, and that made for a mix-up of super speedway ringers and underdogs and debuting drivers. A number of storylines weaving together into Saturday, which produced one of the most fun days of racing that I've been a part of here at PGR eSports over the course of two 60-lap duels. Of course, we had the pole shootout on Friday, and all the drama and chaos that was in that race. Probably some of the best racing of the week was on Friday night. But Saturday featured those two dual races, which then set us up perfectly for Sunday's PGR 500, which proved to be one of the better races in promotion history at Daytona back on Sunday afternoon. Again, if you'll remember last year, multiple cautions early in that race and many cautions late, really in the early stages up until about lap 150. There were not many stoppages to the race here from Daytona International Speedway. Over 100 laps of green flag racing made the strategies get all kinds of tangled up towards the tail end of the race, and in the end, through all of the chaos, there was an overtime attempt, a couple of big incidents towards the end. Comers and goers, I think, was a big factor of it as well, something we really have not yet seen on the PGR scene, at least as of late. It had a little bit of everything in that race on Sunday. If you missed it, it's here on our channel at PGR Esports. It's also on the official iRacing channel. I want to thank iRacing again really quickly for their involvement in the PGR 500, allowing us to bring our product to a brand new audience. That was an incredible opportunity, and I'm very humbled, grateful to be a part of that, of the group that got to bring that action to you, to be in the broadcast booth. Grateful to continue to get to do this. So wanted to thank iRacing again, but we have business to attend to tonight. Let's talk about it. The Intimidator Superspeedway Series is back after the hiatus for Speed Week and the PGR 500. Tonight a little bit different. Over 50 cars have registered, 51 I believe to be exact, have registered for this race. They are qualifying currently on the Speedway. That is about 5 seconds actually from being done and over with. We're going to head trackside here momentarily. The top 20 qualifying times have locked into the feature tonight. I can tell you most of those 20 are the big names that we tend to see towards the top of the running order. They will skip out on what is going to be the first race of the evening, and that is going to be a heat race. That's right. For the first time since it was Thursday night heat, we are going to run a heat race on a Thursday night in the Intimidator Superspeedway Series. We'll start with everyone else outside the top 20 running in a 20-lap heat race. The top 10 out of this race will move on to join those 20 qualifiers that got in on time in the feature. So it will be 31 cars here for 10 spots. Those 10 will join 20 in the feature. It will be 30 in our feature later on. It'll be 40 laps in length. We'll get to that later on in the night. But first, business to attend to here on a Thursday night as we get started for Intimidator Superspeedway Series. Again, harkens me back to simpler times. Thursday night heat almost makes a return tonight from Daytona. Let's get the action started with the starting lineup for the heat race that will determine the last 10 drivers to advance into the feature coming up in about 35 or 40 minutes from now. On the pole by virtue of his qualifying time with a 48.047 second lap, it's the 62 of Landon Velicki. For the Jack Shack team, to his outside, it's the 84 of Justin Melikar for the Midnight Racing League group. Row 2, Team PGR's Brock Westmoreland makes a PGR return tonight in car number 4. You'll see him there in the familiar teal, red, and white train colors. To his outside, the Jack Shack's David Flanagan, the familiar purple from the SummerSlam 499 for the driver of the 31. Row 3, Reactor 9 eSports driver Ryan Bailey will go from position number 5, and it's one of the flagship drivers from McCullough Motorsports, Josh McCullough, from position number 6. Back on row 4, Gordon Spain in car number 38. Alongside him, he'll have a teammate in John Ward, the captain for Team Dega Pros. And rounding out the top 10, it's Michael Barksdale in car 00, and Josh Bonwell makes another PGR start tonight in 10th in this heat. Jeff Merck for NBG Motorsports will start from position number 11. Carson Freeman will go from the outside of him in position number 12. Row 7 going to be Wes Campbell and Jimmy Crow making a PGR start on a Thursday for the first time in a long time in car number 50. Row 8 going to be Sean Corbett in the 45, also under the Dega Pros banner, and Larry McDonald in the 80, who I believe is also with that group. Row 9 going to be James Waring, another Dega Pros entry in the 13, and Josh Giambroni in the 49 makes one of his first Thursday starts in a while as well, who go from 18th. Max Dinda will go from the 19th position, and alongside him, the Cinderella story, the 500, Tucker McClendon will go from 20th. Row 11 going to be Brandon Broadfoot in car 22. We'll talk more about Brandon in a little bit. I want to thank that group over there at Variety Pack Racing for their sponsorship of tonight's race. We'll talk about their event later in the night. Mike Davenport for Team PGR will go from 22nd. Row 12 will be Dallas Humans, one of the drivers that attempted the PGR 500. He'll go from 23rd alongside Andrew Zanto in the 24th spot. Row 13, another PGR 500 attempt driver, Misael Flores, will go from 25th alongside another one in Jacob Booth in car 19. Row 14, Mark Vondell from McCullough Motorsports goes from 27th. It's Mason Olney that will go from 28th, his debut tonight in PGR. Row 15, one of the other storylines of the week in the PGR 500, Kyle Zittel will join us for a weekly race this week in 29th in the 53. Kurt Quist to his outside in the 95. Final car on the grid, another PGR 500 driver that attempted the heat races, Brent Menifee in car 109. So again, 31 will start this heat race. 10 will move forward to a feature race coming up later. That will be 40 laps in length. This heat will be 20 in length. To get us started here, and some big names have been relegated into this heat race. There will be drivers that go home out of this initial race that will not get to race in the feature event. Again, shades of the old system here in PGR eSports. Thursday night heat makes a return tonight for the first time in a long time. It's a long time coming. A lot of action on tap tonight, 60 total laps of racing, but we'll get it started with a heat race first. The first weekly series race back from the Great American Sim Race is about to get underway. Landon Veliky brings us to the green flag. We're racing in the Thursday night Intimidator Series. Field will rocket off turn 4 and come to complete lap. One trouble. Gordon Spain's around right in the middle of the field. Jeff Merck's involved. Another couple spin to a stop. We're going to have multiple cars involved here in the tri-oval. Larry McDonald is in it. Another couple slide in. Oh, man, some guys out towards the back get into it as well. Zanto is involved. There's more cars out back of them that are involved as well. John Ward has gotten a piece of this for the Dega Pros group. So is Mark Vondell. So is Jimmy Crow. A couple of others are going to get into this one. Now more damage. Man, John Ward, extensive damage to his Dega Pros Ford Mustang Dark Horse. As he'll go to pit road, his night likely already in the books. And an early one here in this heat race, going to take out a number of the big names towards the tail end of the field. We'll go back and start to take a look at what happened towards the tail end of the field, as we always do. We'll go overhead first. Get an idea of what started this one. Is back around Jeff Merck, and this actually is going to start well before the entrance of the trial. It's going to get started off turn number 4. You'll see Merck up to the wall. He's trying to throw the block on John Ward, and to his credit, he does it when he's clear, but he does not come all the way up. And what that does is it creates an offset situation for Ward in the back of Merck, and it's going to get both of them out of shape. And then as Merck comes down, he collects Michael Barksdale. They come together. That's the hit that knocks the 60 down into Gordon Spain, and it is on from there. Josh Giambroni is in this as well in the 49. He's in the outside wall. Mike Davenport is in this. There's Jimmy Crow. Tucker McClendon may be in this. James Waring is in this. Jacob Booth is in it. Larry McDonald. Andrew Zanto. This is double-digit cars on the opening couple of laps of this race. You see Davenport. He's got big damage. That's a big hit for Jimmy Crow. His night is likely done as well. McDonald, a couple of big hits in this. Giambroni might be okay. We'll double-check the right front of the all-black 49 right there. That's Giambroni. John Ward comes in. There's the other car that comes in. It's the 35 of Mason Olney. We'll have to check any damage on him. He gets a couple of shots in that one as well. So it really got started a bit earlier than I thought up in the entrance of the tri-oval. And again, it's going to come from an offset push. Would like to see if we can find... This one might work. The drone shot coming off turn number 4. We'll go to the tower camera in a moment as well, but you'll kind of see what I'm talking about here. Watch Jeff Merck on the bottom side of the racetrack, the gray NBG 60, as he is going to work up the hill, trying to get in front of John Ward. You see the gap. It's 2 car lanes. It's plenty of room for Merck to make this move, and admittedly, he gets up in front of John Ward. He is clear to make this move off turn 4 on the right side of your screen, but it's that push right there that gets Merck out of shape on the right rear. He did not get up far enough to get on John Ward's nose to get centered. Unfortunately, again, it pushes John Ward offset. Jambroni is pushing through the 92. There's nothing else John Ward can do except try to give the 60 a push. It was offset, knocked him down into Barksdale, who then hooks him into Spain. And it is on from there. You see McClendon does get a piece. I can't imagine there's much damage on that Tennessee Volunteers Ford Mustang. Waring gets a piece. You're going to see McDonald, Booth, Davenport, Zanto, you see all of them right there. That's the hit for Jimmy Crow. Actually, there's 2. There's one into the wall, and then there's one into the left front of Larry McDonald that worry me about Jimmy Crow's potential to come back in this race. Andrew Zanto, and then you'll see Olney. That's the green and white car on the right side coming in from the right side that is going to get Zanto, and then he's going to hit Spain up against the outside wall. You see Vondell trying to come to a stop. I don't think he was able to. He gets into Larry McDonald, gives him a little bit of added. We'll go to one more replay angle, then we'll head back up front. Get ready for a restart. And want to get up top with the TV tower if possible. Again, try to show you what sparked this one up. Again, it's going to be Jeff Merck on the bottom. Again, that gray 60. And he is going to work up the speedway in front of John Ward. It's actually going to give us a really good straight-on angle of what I was talking about a moment ago with him being offset. Look at Jambroni pushing through the back of the all-yellow John Ward car. Ward actually adjusts a little bit to try to help Merck make that move. Ward actually moved to his right. And Merck, thinking he was going to be centered, stops when he gets up the hill where he thinks John Ward's going to be, and Ward is about a lane higher. And it offsets both cars. It gets them out of shape, and they tried everything they could to save it. They're unable to. Merck works down the racetrack. Barksdale hooks him into Spain, and it is game on from there in the tri-oval. So a number of cars involved in this opening caution. You see several sliding through the grass or driving through the grass trying to avoid this. Good job from a couple cars there. I think that's Broadfoot is one of them. Not sure why he's not showing a paint scheme for us up here in the 22. Dinda is another one. That's the 48. A couple other cars coming through on the bottom side, as you see this one come to conclusion on the front stretch. So a number of cars involved. It's put us under the first caution flag of the night in this one and only heat race. It involves multiple big names that now will be behind the 8-ball trying to get back in this one. I can tell you John Ward, Andrew Zanto, Josh Jambroni, and Jimmy Crow all continue to sit on pit road. Looks like Ward and McDonald have called it a day. So John Ward, Larry McDonald, their nights are over. For Jimmy Crow, Josh Jambroni, and Andrew Zanto, they will need a miracle. Appears to me as if Jambroni has called it a night as well. As having a little bit of issue there. Field loads back in. We're all good. Nope, we're not all good. Trying to be all good. And we're going to go back under the green flag. Bit of an issue there. Daytona has presented some problems in terms of the graphics. Oh, man, Justin Melikar blinking out in the 84. That's a tough break for him. He's going backwards. This is a really unfortunate situation for Melikar as he had some connection issues on the start, seemingly just like I did. It almost timed up at the same exact time. That's ironic for Melikar, but everybody keeps it going for now. See a couple cars that are kind of, that look like they have a haze over them back there. That's the 48 of Dinda and the 24 Freeman. Unfortunately, with the way that those cars are painted, they have an outer layer over them that's called a spec map. That's what kind of, that's what makes the cars shine. You see the 62 and the 31, Veliky and Flanagan, the best example of that, where their cars shine. They don't naturally do that in the iRacing side of things when you can paint cars. So what guys will do is they'll put an outer layer. That's called a spec map. And the spec maps on those two cars is not reacting well with the sun on this racetrack in terms of texture. So you notice every other car is perfectly good and fine. Those two cars are a little bit weird. So those are the cars you see with the haze. That's Freeman. That's the one on the bottom. The Exalta Chevy. The Ally Chevy up top is Dinda. So just keep that in mind for later on as well. Veliky, Flanagan lead back to 3. Simplification up front here. The top 7 cars, I believe, are clear in that outside lane, but the caution flag is out further back. It's another crash towards the tail end of the field. Not sure who's involved in this one. Could be Mason Olney, potentially. Could be Mark Vondell. And the caution flag is back out with 14 laps to go. Let's go back and try to take a look. I'm not particularly sure where this one's going to start. Oh, there it is right there. As it's the 36 of Dallas Humans, but he's able to get it back going. So let's go back. Try to figure out what sparked this one up. This one was way at the tail end of the field, and it was about a half spin. It looks as if Humans was able to save this, but a caution flag is thrown kind of in the midst of all of this stuff happening. So watch the 36 Lowe's Chevy. There's a big stack up to Brock Westmoreland, and Waring gets into the back of Humans, turns him sideways, right in front of Carson Freeman. Jacob Booth gets a piece. Waring, I think, is going to get another hit right there in the 13. But then Humans is able to make the save. Phenomenal job, by the way, by Dallas Humans to make the save and manage to keep that car rolling. So for Humans, that could have been a lot worse in the 36 than it was. He's able to keep going and does not have a ton of visible damage. We'll get a couple more looks just to see, again, what kind of sparks this up. But looking in to turn 3, you see the stack up. Let's go back, actually. I'm going to back it up just a little bit more. Try to show you the stack up. Watch the top lane up to Brock Westmoreland and Tucker McClendon. Watch as those cars jump on the brakes. You see Westmoreland's in the brakes, then McClendon's in the brakes. Now Dinda's going to get in the brakes right here. He's going to actually get into the back of McClendon. He slams on the brakes, trying to stay off the back of the 00. Humans gets on the brakes, but the further back that stack up gets, the worse that it gets for the cars in line, and for James Waring, just not enough time to react. You may be saying, well, it looked like he had time to react. This video's in slow motion. I'll show it to you in real time in just a moment to show you exactly how much time that James Waring had to make that decision to try to hit the brakes. I'll show you exactly what I mean as they worked back towards turn number 3. So I'm going to back this up again about halfway down the backstretch. I'm going to play it in real time. Watch how little time Waring has to jump on the brakes when the stack up starts in front of him. So again, by the time that you can process that stack up is happening, you're likely already in the back of the car in front of you. And this Gen 6 car is so sensitive to those pushes on the back bumper, where if you are the slightest bit offset and a lot faster, big closing rate, and there was one there. My goodness, Jeff Merck, before that caution got thrown, weaving through the field trying to get spots back. But as I was saying, the speed difference being a little bit offset can knock that car out of line. It can actually turn them. Even if you hit them 95% square, it can knock that car out of line and create an issue for the driver in front of you that you are pushing. And we saw that throughout the SummerSlam 499 back in August, if you'll remember. We saw quite a bit of that, where pushes would happen a little bit offset, but there'd be a big closing rate, and a guy would throw a block, or a guy would take a run, and maybe there'd be a huge closing rate. And even if you're the slightest bit off one way or the other, unfortunately, that can be the end result. It can knock the wheel completely out of your hands and create an issue. So I want to update you on some housekeeping after that one. Gordon Spain, James Waring, and Jimmy Crow continue to sit on pit road repairing damage. Dallas Humans also made a trip down pit road to fix his damage. 4 cars appear to have called it a night. Again, those are Larry McDonald, Josh Jambroni, Andrew Zanto, and John Ward. Those are the 4 cars that are out. 3 cars continue to sit on pit road. 26 are on the lead lap as of right now. Back to James Waring. Waring, though, is at risk of going a lap down if he is not able to leave pit road immediately. He continues to sit on pit road and appears he will go 1 lap down. So Waring and Crow are now laps down. Waring is 1 lap down. Jimmy Crow has gone multiple laps down. Actually, he's down 4 laps on my timing and scoring. So 25 remain on the lead lap. Again, 10 will make it in. Out of the 25 that are left on the lead lap, the 26 that are left in relative contention. 25 for 10 spots in the feature later on. Before you mention it, I do know that the cars are having some flashing issues. It's been a Daytona issue for more than just myself, as the update to Daytona seems to have created a brand new technological strain, if you will, on the devices that we all use to broadcast Daytona. It's not just been a me problem, it's been an everyone problem. I'll tell you, after this heat race, we'll likely have a warm-up. If we do have a warm-up session, even if we don't, we'll likely head to break, and I will do everything I can to make sure we do not have that issue during the feature later on tonight. If we get another caution flag, we may dip out really quickly, trying to just fix some things as well. So keep that in mind. I am well aware that the cars will flash every now and then. They have not had too big an issue yet, but we will make some changes before the feature to make sure that everything is looking crisp and clean for you all on the broadcast side, on the viewer side at home. So keep that in mind. We'll make it the next 11 laps, and then we will get some things resolved. We'll be back ready to go feature racing later on the night. For now, business to attend to. 11 laps to go at the Daytona International Speedway. Landon Velicki continues to lead the way. A good effort for that Jack Shack car so far in this race. He's got a teammate lined up alongside him still in David Flanagan. They've led every lap so far, trying to finish the job and make their way to the feature. Green flag back in the air. Inside goes. Outside does not. Velicki and Josh McCullough get going. They're going to jump right up to the outside in front of Flanagan. Flanagan's going to hang to the middle for now, but will likely follow to the wall as the inside. Nobody stays down there. Bonwell is up. A number of cars have jumped to the outside lane against the safer barrier. And no bottom lane as they run right now. Top 6 on the outside. Back to the continuing to blink. Well, that's actually Ryan Bailey that blinks. We saw the issue from Melikar. He runs 4th, but now Ryan Bailey having a problem as well. So again, it's not just me having some problems with Daytona. These guys in the cars, almost trouble out back. There's a big stack of trouble. Around they go again. Mike Davenport, the big one, strikes in turn 3. Merck's involved. Boots involved. Vondell, Freeman, Menifee, I think, Misael Flores, Gordon Spain's in it again, Brandon Broadfoot's in it, Kyle Zittel may have gotten a piece. He got more than a piece. That's big damage aboard his 53. And again, we head to the caution flag. And again, we have yet to establish a green flag run in this heat race. Let's go back and take a look. This was back towards the Barksdale part of the line. Kurt Quist and Michael Barksdale were the first 2 cars that I saw get around. Mike Davenport as well, so we'll focus on him. We'll go up top. We'll take a look from up top first. See right there, the stack up. We're actually going to back this up. I'm going to show you the stack up again. It's the same thing that happened earlier. Watch up ahead with Brock Westmoreland and Max Dinda and Tucker McClendon as the outside lane is going to stack up. You see right there, Westmoreland backwards, Dinda's coming backwards, McClendon's going to jump in the brakes. Corbett is going to try to jump in the brakes. He's actually going to hit McClendon and gets knocked off set. Then Quist gets into the back of him. That throws both of those cars into the wall. Nowhere really for Mike Davenport to go, as he just has to run into Quist. Not enough time for him to react. Quist gets turned to the inside, Davenport turned to the outside, and the track gets blocked. He pinballs Broadfoot back down across Merck and Booth, and from there, it is blocked. There's Flores, the Jordan red, white, and blue Toyota, Carson Freeman, Mark Mondell, Kyle Zittel, Jambroni, who I thought called it a race, actually did not call it a race. He's back out on track, but gets involved in this one too. As up ahead, Menifee and Jambroni and Zittel try to avoid. Looked like the Mason Olney machine may have been in it as well. Spain, that's his second one of the night in the 38. Goodness, another incident early in this race. Or rather, just in this race in general. We're past the halfway mark, and still these guys are continuing to have problems with the stack-ups. You see how fast it happens? Again, by the time Davenport's on the scene, actually, it's going to be critical netcode. I thought he got into the back in the 95 Quist. He did not. That was critical netcode between the 55 and the 95 that gets Davenport up in the air. And from there, Broadfoot, he can't lift out of the brakes quite in time, gets into the back of Davenport, and the track gets blocked, and you see cars just piling into this. That's a big hit right there for Zittel. Broadfoot's in the wall. Merck is in this. There's Jambroni. And Spain, who's going to get clipped by the rear end of Davenport. Here comes the Olney machine. Boy, that's the second time he's come piling into one of these incidents. He's going to get collected. As you see a couple scramble to the inside. That's Humans. The Menifee car and the Jambroni cars that all bailed to the grass did some landscaping as they work down the hill of turn number 3. We'll go to one more angle of it. Again, we'll show you this stack up. We're going to show it to you in real time again just to show you how fast this one got sparked up. It's a stack up that goes from about third all the way to the middle portions of that top lane. By the time Davenport's on scene, he gets critical netcode. There's nothing he can do. He gets turned by Broadfoot, and then it's a helpless feeling as he comes back across. The track is blocked, and multiple cars get involved in this one as well. So we go back up front. We will do this one more time, at least, from Daytona. As the field gets ready to get one to go, it will be 7 laps to go in the heat race when we go back green. Landon Velicki is your leader. He's led all 21 laps, or rather all 11 laps of this heat race, only 20 laps in length. Josh McCullough is second. David Flanagan is third. Justin Melikar is fourth. Josh Bonwell is up to fifth. Ryan Bailey is sixth. Rest of the transfer spots, Brock Westmoreland in seventh, Max Dinda in eighth, Tucker McClendon in ninth, and Kirk Quist in 10th. Notable drivers outside the transfer that could still get in. Jeff Merck runs 17th, Mark Vondell 18th, Mike Davenport 20th. Spain started inside the top 10. He's 22nd. Of course, we noted the struggles tonight so far for Jambroni, Waring, McDonald, Ward, Jimmy Crow. A number of other cars have now called it an evening. It appears Brandon Broadfoot's night is over. He'll finish 26th. So too James Waring is well behind the 8 ball. He's 4 laps down in 27th. Crow, McDonald, Zanto, Ward already behind the wall. Jambroni continues to run, but he is 3 laps down. Kyle Zittel is 2 laps down to the leaders. Jacob Booth continues to sit on pit road. He too now is 1 lap down as well. So we're down to only 22 cars on the lead lap and only about 25 still running of the guys that started this heat race. So now 22 down to 10 spots. Gets a little bit more simple to deal with. If you're one of the guys outside the transfer positions right now, not as many cars fighting for the spots that you're trying to get. Makes your life just a little bit easier. But the guys up front, it's been relatively calm, I would say, so far. Really no challenges for the lead up front. They've all gotten good restarts. They've all been able to get off and rolling pretty good, and all have morphed to the wall pretty quick. Not many moves. Again, these guys relatively all know each other. Again, Velicki, McCullough, Flanagan, Melikar, even Bonwell's raced in PGR enough. Ryan Bailey, Westmoreland, Dinda. I mean, these are all guys that race around each other every night. Got to think that they are somewhat working together. At least these front 4 or 5 cars are trying to take care of each other here and just make it into the feature knowing that chaos is happening behind them. 7 laps to go in the heat. 10 make it in. Everybody else is going home as essentially Thursday night heat is back on this first Thursday after the PGR 500. Landon Velicki back into the restart zone. Green flag in the air. And away we go from Daytona once again. 7 to go. This time the outside does not go at all. Flanagan goes pretty well on the bottom in car 31. But he's only got 1 car there to help him in the form of Josh Bonwell. McCullough's got the better help. Velicki will have to bail on his teammate here in the banking of turn 1. He'll run it high, trying to allow Flanagan to pull at least alongside him. He'll now bring the line down to slightly side draft. You'll notice a lot more room being given to his Jack Shack teammate David Flanagan. The caution flag is out again. And again, it's in the back of the field. As multiple cars are involved in this one too. Go back and take a look. This was way towards the tail end of the field. I thought we were going to get something from the blimp. We may not here. It's in a pretty bad spot. We're not going to get anything from the blimp. We'll take a look back at it anyway. See, Vondell is going to get turned by Davenport. Back up into the field goes the 59. Jambroni's in another one. Man, a bad night gone worse. Jambroni can't catch a break. In the all-black 49. Let's get a different angle so you can get an idea of what happened here. There we go. Drone camera, as this was, again, way at the back of the field. So you see Mark Vondel, he's the car in the center of the 59. Merck is on the bottom in the gray 60. Sean Corbett is right there. So too is Misael Flores. The damaged car of Davenport and Mason Olney. As they worked up the banking of turn 1. Is this just going to be guys coming together in the same real estate? Yeah, it is. Davenport working up. Vondel working down. They come together. And it's on from there. Merck, nowhere for him to go as Vondel comes across his nose. Now, both of these cars are able to relatively save it. Vondel comes back up, collects Misael Flores, and gets a little bit more contact there for Vondel. So for Vondel and Flores, they get the brunt, but Merck, Davenport, Jambroni get involved, I think. Yep, there's a hit for the 49 as well, so another one for Jambroni. As a bad night is gone worse for him in that 49. Try to get one more angle of this, looking down towards turn number 1. As again, you're going to see Davenport split to the center on Vondel, and very minuscule movements either way for both drivers, but they meet in the center in that real estate. And that sends Vondel and Misael Flores for a spin in the turn 1 infield. So now more cars on pit road. Merck, Flores, Spain, Vondel will all come down pit road for damage repair. And that leaves only 18 on the racetrack as they run right now. So inside of 5 laps to go, it'll actually be 3 laps to go when we get back under the green flag in just a few moments in this only heat race of the evening so far. Landon Velicki, David Flanagan are 1-2. That actually works out perfectly for them where that caution came out, where Flanagan, I think, was going to get on the wrong end of the freight train on the bottom side. He now is going to line up second with his teammates. That's a big break for them. Josh McCullough third, Josh Bonwell in fourth. Justin Melikar is fifth. Ryan Bailey is sixth. Max Dinda has worked up to seventh, plus 12 for him so far. Brock Westmoreland is eighth. Plus 11 for Tucker McClendon into ninth. And plus 20 for Kurt Quist. One of the last cars on the grid is up from 30th to 10th. That's how they run right now. I want to thank everybody for coming out tonight, joining us on a Thursday night. Again, we're back to our regularly scheduled programming after a crazy week last week in the PGR 500. Hope you did enjoy that event. It was a roller coaster ride for me. Just a total rush of emotion, a total rush of adrenaline, too. Such a cool thing, such a fun experience to get to be a part of that. My broadcast crew was fantastic for that one. My fellow broadcast crew, I should say. Austin Green, Justin Prince, Michael Triscaro, all at one point on commentary duties. Tyler Vickery, our pit reporter, did excellent work all week last week. Our producers, DJ Lyon and Christian Hill, two of the best in the business at what they do, produced a really great product for us all week, and I want to thank all of them on that broadcast crew that helped make last week work. It made my job really easy. All I had to do was show up and talk. Those guys are top class, some of the best in the business that we get to work with here at PGR eSports. We're very lucky. I wanted to take a second to thank those guys. Running solo tonight for this one here on a Thursday night, unfortunately, but still glad to be with you here on a Thursday. Hope you're all enjoying what you're seeing right now. I want to thank all those in chat as well. Ninth Gear Broadcasting, Turn 3 Motors. It's boosted Ryan B10. I believe that's Ryan Bailey that's actually running 6th right now. Kevin Nagels cheering on Cody. You'll see Cody later on. Venom Chase, Cindy Anderson, and F17. Appreciate all the kind words over the last week as well. I know a lot of people have reached out to myself, to Austin, to Christian, to Justin Prince, to Tyler Vickery, and given us all some kind words about how last week was. Always appreciate that. Again, we're all very grateful to be where we are. Could not have done it without you all watching. The drivers on track as well for an excellent week last week. It was a lot of fun to watch. They made it exciting. They made our jobs a whole lot easier in one hand in terms of the action on track, but a whole lot harder at times just how much was going on at once. The drivers put on a show last week, so thanks to all of them that showed up. 336 drivers showed up last week. It obviously culminated with a 45-car feature back on Sunday. What a fun event that was to not only produce on the broadcasting side, but to get to observe, to get to help manage to a degree as well. What a fun week last week was. But thank you to all of you again. No point in broadcasting without viewers to take in the product, so appreciate all of you for coming out on a Thursday night. Again, this is only the heat race. We are only 3 laps away from the end of the heat race. There will be a feature coming up after this, so stick with us. Stay tuned when this race ends. Don't go anywhere, because we will have some of the best in the business going at it on a Thursday night. This is the Intimidator Superspeedway Series returns to normal programming this week. Landon Veliky and David Flanagan have been pretty much flawless in this heat race so far. They'll go 1-2 again. Green flag in the air. 3 laps to go in the only heat of the night. Veliky goes. Flanagan again does not, but it's going to allow Josh McCullough to jump up behind Landon Veliky and be the lead pusher back to turn 1. Melikar is the man left out on the inside lane. He'll have Dinda with him, along with Tucker McClendon. Their run will start here up the banking of turn 1. They're going to let Melikar run freely. Not much push on the bottom from Dinda yet. Here comes Tucker McClendon, Michael Barksdale, Carson Freeman, and others. Now the inside line gets formulated. The first time, really, that we're going to race out of turn 2 since the opening start. Melikar to the lead. Now the inside coming down to side draft. Tunnel vision. McClendon coming up. Veliky trying to make the save. Dinda blinking. The 48 sideways and cautions out again. Another big incident on the banking of turns 3 and 4 will send us to overtime. Josh Bonwell, maybe a sign of some frustration there for car 56, and he is beached in turns 3 and 4, and he will have to go to pit road. Another big incident on the back straightaway. It's the 3rd large crash in this heat race. This one's going to start with Tucker McClendon and Landon Veliky. So for Veliky, he'd led this whole race. Now, the first time he has had to make a save in this race as he's going to get hit in this exchange. We'll go to the blimp camera. We'll focus it on Josh Bonwell, but it's going to start up ahead with Veliky and Tucker McClendon. Watch as Melikar jumps to the outside. Dinda tunnel vision, unfortunately, for the Ally Chevy and for McClendon behind him. And it's that hit right there, McClendon into Veliky, that's going to get Dinda turned sideways. You see this at Rec Works all the way up to row 1. Dinda starts to blink as he goes around. And guys don't really know where he is. David Flanagan gets a piece. I don't think there's any damage. And then in the stack-up, Bonwell is on the brakes. Bailey turns him, and it's on from there. Westmoreland is in it. Quist is in it. Humans is in it. One more car in it as well as the 83. I can tell you I'm not positive which car that is on my timing and scoring here in front of me. There's at least one other car involved in this as well. That's Wes Campbell in the 83. John Ward coming on, Davenport, Jambroni. They're actually still crashing up ahead. I think that's Dinda. And it is in the 48. And this is going to send us to overtime. So we'll take one more look at it. We'll get back up front quickly. Obviously, with this one, you're ready to go to overtime. Not sure. Trying to get a better look at this. So look up ahead. There's the tunnel vision from McClendon into Veliky. They're going to collect Dinda as they both try to make the save. Veliky actually does. And Bonwell, again, in the stack-up as he's trying to move up to miss the spinning Dinda car. They have no idea where he is because he's blinking. Bonwell moves up across the nose of Bailey. And these guys have nowhere to go. Dinda's sideways across the racetrack. Westmoreland, Campbell, Humans, Barksdale, Quist. So 8 more cars fly in. You see Brent Menifee just trying to get past it. Corbin on the bottom. Menifee trying to bail out from the banking. I believe he may have made it past, so good work there from the 109. As Jambroni and Ward arrive on the scene as well. Jambroni may have gotten a piece of that one also. Man, that's got to be the 4th one for Jambroni. And all 4 really have not been his doing. The 109 of Menifee's up in the air. He took the jump down there in turns 3 and 4. A little bit of rally cross. As he got sideways. One more quick look at it, and then we're going to go back up front to get ready to go back under the green flag. So watch up ahead. As Veliky tries to move to the middle of the side draft, Melikar tries to come up. It's tunnel vision from the next 2 cars, Dinda and McClendon. Bonwell gets turned. Oh, actually, Jambroni got hit from behind by James Waring, so he is involved in this. Waring gets involved in the 13 further out back. I did not see that the first time. I believe the Mason Olney car was involved again as well in the 35. So another caution flag and another number of damaged race cars. It's going to now send us into PGR overtime for the first and only time in this heat race. That'll be a rule for the feature as well. Keep that in mind. We told you on Sunday that we had 3 green-white checkers, and we were corrected. Tonight, it is only 1, both in this race and in the feature coming up in just a little bit. Only 1 green-white checkered available. So this is it. We'll race it out. The results will be unofficial at first, pending a post-race review if needed. There will be no more cautions thrown, no matter if the wreck is up front, in the back, wherever. We are going to run this thing out under the green flag. The race will finish right here, and then, of course, a review after the race will determine any possible discipline for anyone that may cause a crash on this last restart. If you'll remember, back last week in the heats, in the pole shootout, the duels, and in the PGR 500, only 1 race went to the regulation distance. It was one of the 2 duels that went to its regulation distance. Did not require an overtime. Every other race all week, including the 500-miler on Sunday, required that 1 overtime attempt. So nothing that these guys aren't unfamiliar with, but still an overtime attempt. Nonetheless, they have shaken up the running order just a little bit here at the front. Justin Melikar is now the leader. Josh McCullough is second. Then it's the Jack Shack teammates of Flanagan and Veliky that we talked about so much earlier. Carson Freeman has moved up to 5th. Wes Campbell is up to 6th. Dallas Humans has recovered from his crash up to 7th. Kurt Quist is 8th. Michael Barksdale is 9th. Brent Menifee, the last driver in right now. The drivers still in the lead lap that have a contending chance on this green-white checkered. Sean Corbett, 11th. Mike Davenport, 12th. Misael Flores, 13th. Mason Olney, 14th. Jeff Merck, 15th. Gordon Spain, 16th. Ryan Bailey, 17th. Tucker McClendon, 18th. Max Dinda, 19th. 19 cars still in the lead lap for the final transfer positions. 10 spots will get in. Everyone else will see their night come to an early end here in the Intimidator Superspeedway Series. Melikar, McCullough, Flanagan, and Veliky have been very good so far, but they have to finish the job. 2 laps to go. The only overtime attempt in the heat race. Green flag is back in the air. And Melikar rolls towards turn number 1. Flanagan gets going behind him. So does Carson Freeman. It may allow at least those front 2 cars to get clear. I don't think Carson Freeman will get clear. In fact, Flanagan is going to be stuck as well for the moment, but now they will both get up. They're going to squeeze on the nose of Josh McCullough, and Carson Freeman is the odd man out. On the banking of turn 2, Freeman awaits his push. That will be Dallas Humans. Really, everybody up here now all of a sudden is in back to Sean Corbett, and they are driving away from the Flores, Merck, and others group that's behind them, but watch out. It's getting a little bit offset back around here, back around the 10th position. But everybody keeps it going. Field works back into turn 3. Flores, Merck, Menifee, Davenport are all starting to catch back up to the rest of the top 10 as the top 5 try to break away from the field, making 6 back to Quist. Melikar brings the field off turn 4. White flag is up, 1 lap to go in the heat race. Melikar will lead back to turn 1. Top 5 clear, top 6 clear on the wall, make it 7 back to Corbett. 8 back to Freeman. Waring and Bailey crash out back. That's well outside the transfer spots. Their nights are over. Melikar leads back to turn 1. I can't imagine anybody's really going to make too big a move here until it's very late in this race. These guys are all in. Back to Michael Barksdale in 10th, which would be the battle for the final transfer spot. Everybody in this top 9 is in. Is there going to be a move here down into 3? I don't anticipate one. Everyone stays on the wall. Back to Dallas Humans. The question will be with Barksdale. Does Flores go for the spot at the end? Take a look back there. Barksdale, though, driving away from Flores. Something happened to the Flores machine. Out of line comes Wes Campbell. Out of line comes David Flanagan. They'll drag race for it at the line. It was close. It was very close. Flanagan may have stolen. My timing and scoring, you see on the left there, it says Melikar won it, but it was very close. Wow. All right. Justin Melikar for now credited as the winner, but David Flanagan may very well have stolen it from him. Unfortunately, we're not even going to get to see the results as we will go ahead and head to the warm-up session. So unfortunately, we'll look at the results when we come back. We'll tell you who got in when we get to the starting grid for the feature race, which will feature those 20 qualifiers and the 10 out of the heat race. For now, I'm going to go get that visual issue fixed for you so that you all are able to see all the visuals here as we get ready to go feature racing. Stay with us on PGR Esports. We'll be right back after this very, very short break. Welcome back to PGR Esports coverage of the Intimidator Superspeedway Series here from Daytona. A couple quick changes visually that you might start to notice in the infield here at Daytona. Just trying to make it easier for you all to see the action. Make sure we don't have any of those visual blips we had in the heat race. If they do happen, I want to apologize in advance. Again, Daytona has had an update over the past week and a half that has unfortunately made it at times tougher on some of the technological assets that some of us have to broadcast these races, and we're still looking for permanent fixes to those problems. So continue to try to get some more permanent fixes for those issues, but for now it is time to head down trackside and go feature racing as we get on the grid for the feature here in just a moment. So with that being said, let's get down to business. It's time to feature race in the Intimidator Superspeedway Series, the first feature event in the Thursday series in a couple of weeks. Actually, may have been 3 weeks to be exact, because of speed weeks in the PGR 500. And it's about to get underway here from Daytona in just a moment as guys start to get gridded up on the racetrack. Let's get down to it. The starting grid for tonight's feature event of the Intimidator Superspeedway Series, presented by PGR Esports, also presented by the Variety Pack Racing 500. We'll tell you more about them throughout the night as well as we go. I want to thank Brandon Broadfoot, the VPR Group, for sponsoring our event. We'll tell you about their 500 later on in the night as well under a caution flag. On the pole for the feature race tonight in PGR, it is going to be the defending champ. 4 days ago, put himself amongst the elites of PGR Esports history with his win of the PGR 500, and he will lead the field to green tonight, Wyatt Gray, in the 018, the familiar fighter jet colors aboard that 18 that he ran back in August of the SummerSlam 499. He'll go from pole position in the 18. It is outside the defending winner of the SummerSlam 499 back-to-back, Malik Ray, the winningest driver in series history, will go from position number 2. Row 2, going to be Garrett Maines in the 16, making a PGR start tonight as well in the Wig & Water Technologies Toyota Camry. And alongside him, it's the driver for NBG Motorsports, Cody Nagels, in car number 6. Row 3, it's the Jack Shack's Joe Huerta in car 01. Alongside him, Ethan Eckert in the 12. He'll go from position number 6. Row 4, Asher Little in the 33, alongside the former defending PGR 500 winner and the winner of the Road to Pro qualifying series top split back earlier in the week, Daniel Falkingham, representing PGR Esports in that series. And he went to victory lane in that one, looking to go to victory lane in PGR competition tonight. He'll go from 8th. Row 5, Cameron Craighead in 9th. Freddie Bassinez will start 10th. Freddie Bassinez starting to make his return to the PGR scene. Row 6, Stephen Miles, one of the most dominant drivers the last few weeks. He'll go from 11th. Nathan Harper to his outside in 12th. Row 7, Dylan Basin is back in PGR tonight, the defending PGR Series champion. He'll go from 13th. Dylan Jones will go from 14th. Row 8, Nick Seipel in car number 75 alongside the captain for McCullough Motorsports, Kenny McCullough Jr. Row 9 going to be Brian Hennings for VRX and Team PGR, and Axel Smith in the 97. Row 10 going to be John Ellis Jr., and the final car in on qualifying time tonight was Matthew Patton. Then it's the LCQ drivers. David Flanagan and Justin Melikar will start 21st and 22nd. Josh McCullough and Landon Velicki, 23rd and 24th. Kurt Quist and Wes Campbell on row 13. Sean Corbett and Carson Freeman on row 14. Dallas Humans and Michael Barksdale on row 15. A heat race is done and over with. It's now 40 laps on the board as the feature race is ready to get underway from Daytona International Speedway. The Intimidator Superspeedway Series is back in due time. Green flag is in the air. Wyatt Gray leads us. We are underway at Daytona. Back to the start-finish line, fast and furious early, especially out back, as some of those last-chance heat race drivers look to come through the field early in this feature race. So far, though, it is all Wyatt Gray up front in the 018, the defending winner of Sunday's PGR 500, trying to continue his heater on into this Thursday night race. He'll face his first challenge of the evening so far on the inside in the form of the Jack Shack's Joe Huerta, an all-red car aboard his machine tonight in the 01. He runs on the bumper on the inside of Asher Little in the all-black 33. They have Cameron Craighead and Carson Freeman with them. No, make that Stephen Miles. Keep that in mind for later. Miles and Freeman are in the exact same paint scheme. We'll have to differentiate them later, potentially, if they both end up at the front of the field. For now, it continues to be Wyatt Gray up front working the side trap, but through the center. Here comes Justin Melikar. He's got Landon Veliky with them and a couple of other cars out back of them. I think one is Ellis Trouble. Veliky's around right in front of the field. Landon Veliky goes sideways into the outside wall, and the caution's going to come out early, this one on lap 3. And we were just talking about Veliky coming out of that heat race and how good the 62 looked in that race, and he is involved in an early caution flag in the feature after an incident that occurred towards the back of the field. This is actually going to start, I believe, with the Melikar machine in front of him. So watch Justin Melikar. He's getting the push from Veliky in the center lane. I think the other car with them is John Ellis Jr. And again, it's an offset push. Ellis through Veliky through Melikar. And it's going to knock Veliky out of line. Veliky's actually going to bounce up. That's Ellis on the bottom. We'll have to figure out who that 4 car is in the center. But Veliky gets knocked off of John Ellis and comes back around in front of the field. I'll tell you, good job by everybody out back of Veliky to somehow avoid this. Wes Campbell, that was a close call for the 83. But for the most part, everyone gets away from this unscathed. Veliky may have a little bit of damage, but I can't imagine that it is too severe aboard his car either, as he comes to a stop on the apron of turn number 1. We'll go to another angle here. Again, this was working back down towards turn number 1. You're going to see Melikar work up. He's the car in the center, right on the bumper of Landon Veliky. And it's a push from Veliky to Melikar that gets him up the track. He bounces off of one of the cars up there, Falkingham and Bassinez. Comes back down, and Veliky's going to follow him back down. Get into Ellis. Actually, John Ellis is going to go for a spin as well. Trying for the life of me to figure out who that 4 car is in the center lane. Oh, actually, Campbell does get a piece and actually clips Landon Veliky there. That is John Ellis. John Ellis actually made the save on the apron, so heck of a job there for Ellis, as he's able to get his car back going. One more angle for you as they work back down again towards turn number 1. You're going to see this push from that car in the center lane to Veliky through Melikar. It gets Melikar just enough out of line to get into Bassinez. And a chain reaction from there as Veliky down into Ellis. Again, that could have been a lot bigger than it was. Only 2 cars really get out of line. Wes Campbell gets a piece as well. So 3 cars total appear to be involved in this one. And put us under the caution flag for the first time in this feature race. Should get a chance now to figure out who that car was. Initially, I thought it was Harper. It actually is Dylan Basin. So Basin is in the Budweiser 4. Harper is in the Cowboys 4. We don't want to clear that up. That is Dylan Basin running with the Jack Shack tonight. These guys change paint schemes so often, especially in these older race cars. And not all of them have their normal colors that we're used to aboard their other NASCAR sanctioned cars, so it gets a little tough. to judge which car a certain car is. That is Dylan Basin. Of course, we noted Miles and Freeman. They're running the exact same paint scheme tonight in the 24. Both running the red, white, or the white and rainbow and black Exalta Chevrolet. It's exactly the same paint scheme. That is going to get interesting later in the race potentially as well. So again, I want to welcome you all in. If you're just joining us, you're watching PGR eSports Intimidator Superspeedway Series racing from the Daytona International Speedway. My name is Dawson Wise, bringing you through all the action tonight. Glad you could join me for what has been a fun Thursday night of racing so far, but a ways to go here. 35 to go when we get back to the start-finish line. 34 to go once we get back under the green flag. I want to take a moment and talk about the logo that you see in the top right of your screen. That is the Variety Pack Racing 500. Of course, Variety Pack Racing, the group that Brandon Broadfoot has headed up here on the PGR side, kind of getting promotion going for their 500-miler. It is coming up next weekend for the VPR 500. I want to thank Brandon and that group for their sponsorship of tonight's PGR Esports Thursday Night Intimidator Superspeedway Series race. I do want to tell you again, that's next week. There will be qualifying, there will be duels, and there will be a 500-miler. The top two in tonight's race will get free entries to have their name on a wheel spin on February the 19th. So some stakes for the guys in this field beyond what the payouts are. A little bit extra to race for in that Variety Pack Racing 500. I imagine that you will see a number of these drivers attempt that 500-miler next week. And attempt to go back to victory lane. Again, my mind goes to Wyatt Gray. If Wyatt Gray could go win another 500-miler in this Speed Weeks, we're talking about an all-time run that he'd be on to join the likes of the run that Daniel Falkingham went on last year when he won the PGR Series Championship, then went on to win the PGR 500. I think about the back-to-back SummerSlam 499s from Malik Ray, the runs that he went on around the time that he won those races. My mind goes back to the 4 straight Thursday races we saw Cody Nagels win way back when, just over a year ago. He runs third tonight, by the way, in car number 6. I think of feats like that, and I think that Wyatt Gray has a chance to join them should he win either tonight or potentially that VPR 500 coming up next weekend. So again, I want to thank Brandon Broadfoot and the folks over at Variety Pack Racing. Their support PGR Esports. Go check out the VPR 500 next weekend from Daytona. Speed Weeks continue to roll on. Of course, we had the Daytona Duels tonight in the NASCAR Cup Series. A couple of fun races there from Daytona, as Joey Logano and Chase Elliott are going to start on row 2 for the 500. They both won the duels. Of course, last night, Kyle Busch won the pole. Chase Briscoe is going to start outside of him in second for Sunday's Great American Race, as NASCAR season is back and their Speed Weeks continue to roll on. Business to be attended to here, as 34 laps remain in the PGR Esports feature race from Daytona, the Intimidator Superspeedway Series, back after a couple-week hiatus. And back into the restart zone they will come. 34 laps to go. Garrett Maines, Joe Huerta on the front row. Green flag back in the air, and away we go towards turn number 1. Already moves being made out back. You saw Asher Little look to the outside of Dylan Jones. Dylan Jones covers the run. Craighead tried to go with Little. It does not work. Jones, the veteran, able to cover on the outside in the all-white 0-1, third in line in the middle, back behind Ethan Eckert. Wyatt Gray looking for Cameron Craighead's right rear quarter panel. Craighead throws the block in the 48. It works for now, but Asher Little trying to get spit out of line. Gray moves to the center. How about the move for Wyatt Gray? 4 wide, back around Axel Smith as they work down the back straightaway, but it sorts back out to 3 wide. Move to the center. Here comes Malik Ray. He's got Daniel Falkingham with him as they all go to the center. Asher Little bounces off the outside wall. Bassinet's going to join those in the outside lane. Maines throws a block across the top on Huerta. He had to save the car. He was halfway sideways. Up front, Cody Nagels is going to go to the race lead in the 6. He'll jump to the top now, back to the middle in front of Malik Ray. Maines to the outside in front of Huerta. Nagels tried to cover the top. Now Malik Ray pushing him out of line. Gray bumps Ellis off the racetrack. Everybody keeps it going. The stack-up works its way back, but everybody so far so good, as Nagels will be relegated back to 3rd. Maines back to the lead on the push from Huerta. These cars do not push like the next-gen cars did back last weekend. Maines back to the lead. Garrett Maines, it's been a little while since he's been in PGR victory lane, looking to get back off the schneid tonight. Same can be said for Nagels on the inside, the extra life Chevy in the 6. Inside, 3 cars deep, no side draft from up top from Garrett Maines. Nagels will go clear, likely here off turn 4. He'll jump bottom to top. And along the rail goes Cody Nagels. He will leave, but not for very long. Here comes the run to the inside. Here comes Malik Ray. The winningest driver in PGR Series history goes back to the front. Falkingham cuts off Nagels. Craig had got a little bit of tunnel vision. He tried to go to the top as well. He'll get shuffled middle by Garrett Maines. He'll go to the help of Asher Little. Rather, no, he'll throw it on the nose of Dylan Jones. Dylan Jones, can't imagine he was very pleased about that, but Ray and Falkingham were able to get clear in front of Nagels. Wyatt Gray relegated to the bottom. He had to turn left after that moment with Asher Little out back. Bassinez will be his help. Stephen Miles has come to the front as well. 3 teammates, bottom side of the racetrack along the double yellow line. Malik Ray continues to lead back to 3. He's got friendly faces coming. He'll pull down and tow them along. Daniel Falkingham leads the outside for a moment as Malik Ray tries to grab a few of his team cars on the bottom side. They've got Nick Seipel actually coming to join them. Also, a train of teammate cars on the bottom. Falkingham brushed the outside wall. No harm, no foul for the 39. The pink, white, and black car on the outside right in front of Nagels behind Malik Ray. 10 up and down already. 31 to go. Ellis got spit out of line. From 4th on the inside, he'll go all the way to the tail end of the lead pack. Ray continues to lead. Here comes the run from Wyatt Gray. Malik Ray brings the line down to side draft as both lines start to get a little bit hot out back. Eckert on Huerta could not get the job done trying to get to his right rear quarter panel as Huerta tried to get to Maines' right rear quarter panel. Everybody so far now civil down the back straightaway. Let's see if anything changes down here to turn 3. The inside has fallen apart. Here come a pair of teammates on the bottom. Falkingham pushed by Cody Nagels. Malik Ray hung in the wind. Falkingham will get clear. Nagels will not. Not going to try to force the issue. Falkingham takes the lead and jumps back to the safer barrier. Through the center. Here comes Huerta. Eckert finally got to his right rear. Asher Little is on his back bumper. Axel Smith, his teammate at T3 Motors, will come along with him in the center lane. One more car coming through the center. That's Nathan Harper. Harper trying to work the center. Huerta jumps down into the center of Garrett Maines and Freddie Bassinez and shoots the gap right through the middle. They'll only get as far as that 3rd row in line. They'll have to relegate now off turn 2 as it's a bit of no man's land for Falkingham and Ray. Nagels was able to stay on the bottom with Wyatt Gray and get it going, but the middle lane is really harming the bottom lane from Bassinez on back. They're not able to get as much of a run. Falkingham leads back up the hill in turn 3. Falkingham continues to lead the field and look good here in that 39 machine. Looked good last August, so of course did the winner Malik Ray. They row 1-2, no surprises here. Off turn number 4, Huerta still trying to get that middle lane going. Kirk Quist has joined that middle lane as well in car 95, the red and black car 5 rows deep. Falkingham continues to lead, 29 to go. Huerta all the way to the bottom, off the nose of Little to the nose of Nagels. As Asher Little starting to get hot, Huerta realized that run may have faltered out just a little bit in that center lane. Now he'll trust Nagels to try to get him up front. As Maines is giving Malik Ray all he can handle from out back. Man, a big push there to Malik Ray. Little throws it on the nose of Gray. He'll go 3rd on the inside. Now the inside lane should have a bit more energy to drum up. Maines sees that, drops down in front of Huerta, takes the run into turn 3. He'll go alongside Falkingham. Falkingham gets split. Ray to the fence. He'll bring a teammate with him. Falkingham hung in the center. Maines throws a huge block on Ray off turn 4. It won't work, or will it? Maines is able to jump across his nose. Eckert has to bail after that block stacked that lineup, or that 2-car tandem up rather. Eckert has to drop to the bottom. He'll be relegated behind the Asher Little machine in the 33. Huerta and Nagels make like bandits right there and go all the way to the lead. They'll jump to the safer barrier now in 1 and 2. As here comes Asher Little on the bottom. He's got Eckert and then Falkingham. As Malik Ray has been relegated all the way to 4th in the outside lane. The middle lane going backwards. That's just Nathan Harper and Kirk Quist now, and they're going backwards. Inside is where the momentum is. Big Mo down the back straightaway for Asher Little, Ethan Eckert, and Daniel Falkingham. Asher Little out front. New colors for him tonight, all black. We're used to seeing the Sundrop colors aboard his car. He'll go all the way to the lead. Is out back. Malik Ray is split in the center. As Cameron Craighead gets to his right rear. No one wants to push him yet. Miles will come up now. That's a teammate to Ray, about 5 rows deep in the field. That's where the 3 wide starts. Up front, Huerta and Nagels continue to lead that middle lane. It's kind of drifting between the 2 lanes. Again, nowhere really for them to go. No man's land. Inside will continue to generate the energy as such. Asher Little forward to the lead. He'll bring Eckert and Falkingham. They're all 3 clear. Man, Huerta is really struggling with the pushes. Eckert hung out to dry. Falkingham beats him to the punch, gets to his right rear quarter panel. Little hung in the middle just a little bit. That was almost a big moment there for him as he was in no man's land, but he'll jump on the nose of Falkingham and lead back to 3. Craighead took a huge run through the center. No one went with him. The outside stacks up back to Dylan Jones, but somehow we all keep it straight. Now Malik Ray's going to take that run through the center. He'll get to Craighead first here off turn 4. Stephen Miles trouble. Malik Ray turns Craighead, and it's the big one at the front of the field. Multiple cars go sideways in the tri-oval. Ray is in it. Miles is in it. Craighead, Jones, Ellis, and others. Huerta, and many others involved as that one got sparked up off turn 4. You kind of see it coming. The way that push was starting to shape up from Malik Ray to Cameron Craighead, and that is where this one's going to get started. Is back around those two race cars. Let's go take a look at it as they worked off of turn number 4. We're going to go to the high blimp camera here. A lot of cars involved. Let's go up way up top and show you the lead up to this one as well. So Cameron Craighead, you see, I saw him shoot through the center. He actually gets a huge run on entry to turn 3 and tries to take that run all the way to the front. The top lane's going to stack up as Falkingham has to jump out of the gas when Asher Little comes across his nose. That goes back to Dylan Jones. The bottom lane is getting side drafted. That allows Malik Ray and Stephen Miles to tandem up and come forward through the middle lane. That's the orange and black number 1 and the rainbow and white number 24 in the center lane. And as Ray arrives on scene, he's going to try everything he can to square up on Craighead here, but Miles continues to push through him. Miles releases him here off turn 4. And Malik Ray tries to square a push. Actually, no, it's going to start up top with Garrett Maines. Joe Huerta catches the outside retaining wall and bounces down into Maines. Maines bounces down into Ray, and it is on from there. Craighead across the field, Huerta across the field. Axel Smith is in it. Malik Ray's got some damage. Freddie Bassinez is involved. You saw Miles catch it on the bottom side of the racetrack. Dylan Jones is involved. Craighead, Quist, Barksdale. Veliky may have gotten a piece of that. John Ellis is going to slide through the grass. Malik Ray actually comes back up. I don't think he collects anybody else, although this is a close call. Man, does Landon Veliky make it past this? Yes, Ray actually splits the difference between Quist and Veliky, so for Malik Ray, a lucky break there. A number of other cars not so lucky. We'll go back and take another look. Again, try to get a little bit wide on this camera angle off of turn number 4 and show you where this one sparked up. Again, I could see this coming with the way that run was coming in the center, but it's actually going to be the top side with Huerta and Maines. You're going to see it just barely right here. Watch Huerta. Little is actually going to get in the wall. Then Huerta. Maines bounces off the left rear of Huerta down into Malik Ray. And then it is completely on from there. It's a little bit too far wide, actually. Craighead turned across the field. Huerta comes back to his left. Seipel actually gets a piece as well down there in the Miami Dolphins Ford Mustang. Axel Smith gets hit. Huerta, there's Quist, the left side of your screen with Barksdale and Veliky. Dylan Jones may have gotten a piece as well. That's Brian Hennings in the PGR and VRX entry, that green and yellow 74 that goes through the grass as well. A number of big names that were running at the front are involved in this one, and it all started again with a couple of guys bouncing off of the outside wall. They got a little too close to the sun, if you will, off turn 4, and both got the outside wall. They both go for a slide. Another look at it. That run through the center from Malik Ray, I thought it was good timing. It ends up being bad timing as there it goes. Maines, Craighead, and others involved on the front stretch. I think we got away with one a little bit there in terms of the damage on board some of these race cars, but a number of guys involved will have to come from the back in terms of track position. It actually may have been the Carson Freeman 24 that got a piece, although Miles will come to pit road here. He was up in 4th, so it leads me to believe Freeman was the one we saw get involved in the crash. It does look like Miles, though, will come to pit road in the 24. So we'll re-rack the field for you just short of halfway. It'll be 23 laps to go from Daytona when they get the green flag next time by. Asher Little continues to lead the way in the 33. A good effort for him so far, looking for his first PGR win. At least his first Thursday night win. Cody Nagels on the outside of row 1, again looking to break the drought that he's been in on Thursday nights recently. Row 2, Daniel Falkingham, one of the top winningest drivers in series history. And Ethan Eckert, a multi-time winner in 2025, looking to get his first in 2026. Row 3, it's going to be Nathan Harper on the bottom side, another multiple-time PGR winner. And then, of course, PGR 500 champ in Wyatt Gray. Row 4, going to be Justin Melikar in car number 84. Rather, he's on the outside of row 4. It's actually going to be the Kurt Quist machine on the inside of that row. So Quist and Melikar back on row 4. And then Matt Patton and David Flanagan will make up row number 5. You see the sun is going down. It means the lights are about to come on here at Daytona. We might likely finish this thing under the lights if we continue at this current pace. So 23 laps to go. crazy racing so far, although they held it together for the most part for a long time on that green flag run. So props to the whole field for keeping together that long. A few of the moves and the moments that we saw I thought were going to result in a crash. They managed to keep it together for the most part, of course, until the incident sparked up off turn 4. It likely will not be the last. This Gen 6 car lends itself to crazy racing, sometimes stepping over the line of what is too crazy. And right there, an example of that. Little and Nagels will lead us back to the green flag. 23 laps to go in the Intimidator Superspeedway Series from Daytona. Back into the restart zone. Green flag in the air. Little off and running on the bottom. Great start for him on the inside. Nagels and Eckert trying to get tandemed up. Nagels worked up the racetrack there back towards turn 1. Not sure what the problem was there. They're going to leave Falkingham on the bottom with Nathan Harper, bottom side of the racetrack, trying to get the inside line to start to roll. Nagels on the back of Little. Has more cars on the outside, but he'll jump down now to the help of his teammate Daniel Falkingham. That's the line along the inside. Double yellow out. Back moves around Humans. He's going to get turned by Wyatt Gray, or rather that was Garrett Maines. But he keeps it together. Everybody keeps it straight and keeps going. Damage potentially to both cars, the 36 and the 1. Little down to block the bottom. He sees that run coming, although not a good idea to give up your right rear quarter panel in this race car. It allows Ethan Eckert to the outside. He'll have a teammate with him in Wyatt Gray. Little, does he get enough of a push to get back up? And he's going to come down and serve what I imagine to be a penalty here. Cameron Craighead is actually going to pit with him. So an interesting decision from Craighead to dive out of line, but I have to imagine that the 33 of Little was assessed the cause of caution penalty. That is a drive-through outside of 10 laps to go. So he'll have to serve that. He'll have Craighead on pit road with him. Contact. Nagels into Eckert. Knocks the 12 up the racetrack. Eckert is actually going to get picked up by Melikar and company down the back straightaway. Nagels, that allows them to go up to the safer barrier. He and Falkingham. That leaves Harper as the odd man out on the bottom. He'll have Kurt Quist and Dylan Jones as his help. The odd man out in the middle was Wyatt Gray. He got the short end of that stick of the contact between the 6 and the 12 in turn number 2. Off turn 4, back down to the start-finish line. Cody Nagels leads this field. Back down to the start-finish line. 21 laps to go. Next time by, we'll be halfway home. Nagels, Falkingham, Eckert, Melikar clear. Then the bottom starts to roll, but Harper bails. That leaves Quist to the inside with Dylan Jones and Wes Campbell. The outside continues to be the place to be for the moment, but the inside trying to roll up to the door number of Nathan Harper on that inside lane. Most of this lead pack, almost trouble back around Nick Seipel and Garrett Maines as they got a little bit out of shape. Seipel's going to get hung in the middle by the Wigan number 1. Cody Nagels continues to lead. He'll let Daniel Falkingham cool the motor a little bit. He'll jump back up here off of 4. Melikar tried to grab the right rear quarter panel of Eckert. He smacked the outside safer barrier and somehow made the save. 4 wide back around Matt Patton. I don't think that's going to work, and it won't. Matt Patton's around. Garrett Maines is involved. Another couple come in, and the caution's going to have to come out. I saw it generating before it ever started. The stack-up caused by Melikar forces a couple of cars into vulnerable positions. A 4-wide scenario. Never going to work at Daytona. There is not enough room for 4 abreast here like there is at the sister track Talladega. Let's go back and take a look at what caused this one back towards the tail end of this lead pack. Man, Maines actually threw it 4 wide there after that stack up. Huerta, Axel Smith involved, Dylan Bason's involved. Man, number of cars in that one. Towards the back end of the field after Maines threw it in there 4 wide. Again, the stack up by Melikar forces him to have to make that decision. Unfortunately for Patton and others, the decision results in the crash there in the trial. We'll give you another look at it here. Again, we'll go all the way back. I want to show you again the stack-up that starts with Melikar. So watch up in front. I don't know if we'll see it. It might be at the very tail end of this replay camera frame. Melikar, I see him right there. He tries to go to the outside of Eckert. The car gets out from underneath him and slides into the safer barrier. That's what's going to start this stack-up that's back towards the Matt Patton and Garrett Maines machines. You see Flanagan has to react. Another couple cars try to react. Patton's idea is to go to the center, and he's got Garrett Maines with him. Seipel actually gets revenge on Maines, and as Seipel runs the rail, getting both Mains and Patton's right rear quarter panels. They're going to end up 4 wide. And Mains just right into the left rear of Patton, turns him not around at first, but then he bounces off of Corbett, comes back up, and that's the one that gets Patton out of shape. Nowhere for Joe Huerta to go, nowhere for Axel Smith or Dylan Basin to go. Malik Ray actually was back there as well. He gets away unscathed. The front nose cone of Patton's car comes off. Kenny McCullough nearly misses that one as well. That's the 0-3. Big damage to Patton's car. I think everyone else is going to be okay, but big damage to the Matt Patton machine. As he will likely have to have some damage repaired. I think the caution was going to stay furled as long as they did not come back up across the field, which they did here in the tri-oval. Again, right here, and once that third car gets involved, that caution is going to get thrown. Patton immobilized up against the outside wall. It's going to be a caution every single time. So Huerta, Smith, Mains, Patton, and Basin, the cars involved here just past halfway. At least one appears to have called it an evening early. And that would be the Matt Patton machine. Matt Patton's night is over. Dallas Euman's night is over. John Ellis's night appears to be over as well in the 14. So unsure what happened to him, but something has occurred on his car as well. He appears to have called it a night. He continues to sit on pit road as they run as well. So 17 to go when we get back. It'll be 16 to go when we get back under the green flag. So just short of the 15 laps to go mark, we will go back green in this one. Again, glad you've joined us tonight on a Thursday night. If you're just joining us, this is PGR eSports' premier weekly Super Speedway Series, the Intimidator Superspeedway Series. This is the racing that we do on a weekly basis beyond the PGR 500 that you watched last week. This is a normal weekly event for these guys. We run most of the 52 weeks of the year, barring any special events or holidays. Anything else that may be going on at the time. Other than that, these guys are here every Thursday, duking it out on super speedways for some payouts. Speaking of payouts, let's tell you what they are. Just past the halfway mark, with 51 cars registering for this race, it's likely that these payouts will be exact as of tonight's race. It will be a top 10 payout. That's a bit more than we're used to here on a Thursday night. The winner will get $250 tonight, $200 to second place, $175 to third, $125 to fourth and fifth place finishers tonight, $100 to sixth, $50 to seventh and eighth, $25 to ninth and 10th. In tonight's race. So again, a full top 10 payout, a little more than we're used to, a little bit more money to be raced for some guys towards the back half of the top 10. Just keep that in mind as we get back going here with 16 laps to go, that those will be the payouts. Again, the sun continues to go down. The lights are on definitively now here at Daytona. See the headlights on the pace car illuminating the back straightaway. That means we are about to be under the lights for the first time tonight at Daytona. Of course, we had day-to-night transitions in the PGR 500 on Sunday. We ran that race, started it during the day, and went into the night, finished under the lights. You see the lights glimmering off these race cars. So we will finish this one in the nighttime here from virtual Daytona. Cody Nagels and Daniel Falkingham, a pair of NBG Motorsports teammates on the front row. Ethan Eckert will go from third with Dylan Jones to his outside. Kurt Quist, the story of the evening so far, along with Wes Campbell, a pair of heat race drivers making their PGR debuts tonight, will go from 5th and 6th. Nathan Harper will go from 7th. Carson Freeman also in from the heat race in 8th. David Flanagan in from the heat race in 9th. And the PGR 500 champ Wyatt Gray will restart from 10th. As we get ready to go back green. 16 laps to go. We're getting down to crunch time. Gen 6 crunch time, a little bit less time than you would see in the next gen, the Xfinity car, or O'Reilly car rather, the Craftsman truck. these kinds of draft packages with big-time runs that you can take anywhere you want to and work through the field with 2 cars, you can go a lot later than you would in those other ones. Green flag back in the air. Nagel's off to the races. He'll jump to the nose of his teammate Falkingham as they work back towards turn number 1. So it will be Nagels, then Falkingham, then Jones on the outside. Inside is Eckert, but his push a ways back in the form of Kurt Quist. Eckert may jump up onto the wall. No, he'll stay down for now in the Dex Ford Mustang. As Quist tries to lift, Harper gets in the back of him, is out back. Wyatt Gray trying to get around Carson Freeman, and he'll do so. Wyatt Gray to the right rear quarter panel of Freeman. He'll hang Freeman out to dry. Campbell thought about a run through the center in the white and red 83. He'll think better of it and stay behind Dylan Jones. Inside starts to work. Eckert, Quist, Harper, Melikar, and others through the center. Came Dylan Basin out back. He'll dive to the bottom. That was a crash waiting to happen. Stephen Miles trying to dive bottom as well. That's in front of Asher Little. As this race continues out back, trouble almost. That was almost Josh McCullough and Freddie Bassinez. Wes Campbell gets shuffled out of line. Also, I think by Wyatt Gray, might have been by Nick Seipel in the 75 who's gotten up as well. Josh McCullough Bassinez to the center. As back up front we go. To the run of the outside, McCullough gets blocked. He'll go back to the center and hang Falkingham on the wall. Quist and Harper get hit by the 6 and the 05. They're off the racetrack, but they save it. Nagels and McCullough were the ones that get to the wall, and actually Falkingham gets lucky that the line moves up when they did. Bassinez continues to lead the center lane now with Seipel and Gray, his teammates. Along with him, trouble. McCullough getting around. The stack up going backwards, trouble. Around goes Michael Barksdale in the 00. The caution's back out again. Stephen Miles piles in. Landon Veliky trying to stay out of it. It's another stack-up gone wrong, and at this time it's halfway back in the field with Michael Barksdale. Again, this one's going to be a stack-up that starts in front. You're going to hear me say that a lot. It happened a lot last August in the SummerSlam 499 as well. It's going to strike again here in this one late in the stages. This has been a problem all night. We have not run this Gen 6 car in a couple of weeks consistently. It seems like guys are thinking that they can push like they did in the next-gen car last week during the PGR 500. So watch the stack up ahead. You see it there. Jones on the brakes, Flanagan on the brakes, and it just works its way back. Hennings is going to jump on the brakes. In fact, they're going to actually hit the wall. Falkingham, Jones, Flanagan. That's going to shoot Hennings backwards. And then in the scramble, actually, it starts before the stack up ever gets there as Miles into Barksdale. As Miles and Ray tried to come through the field. I think it's Miles. It's either Miles or Freeman. That one is Miles. Freeman actually is going to get involved on the bottom with Malik Ray as well. So both Exalta cars involved. Barksdale backs it into the wall. Miles goes right front first. So probably considerable damage to both cars as they both got into the outside wall. Okay, McCullough scrambles to the grassland. And Veliky was on the brakes trying to miss that one. Again, this one's, yeah, actually, the stack-up doesn't affect anything at all. Miles just right through the left rear of Michael Barksdale. And gets Barksdale sideways, turns him out of line, collects damage on board his car, as well as Miles. So, a tough look there for Stephen Miles. A mistake we don't usually see that driver make. He may have seen the stack-up starting and just not had time to maybe react to Barksdale. No, that's just a misjudgment. He's trying to get in line in front of Landon Veliky. And he just turns up into the left rear of Michael Barksdale and sends Barksdale for the slide to the inside grass there in turn 3. And, of course, Miles picking up some damage out of this one as well. So another caution flag on the racetrack. It's going to stack things up again. It will be 11 laps to go when we go back under the green flag. Next time around, the pace car lights will go out. So we'll start to look forward to a late restart here. Let's actually talk to a driver here under this 4th caution of the night. Let's talk to the first winner of the PGR 500, the defending winner up until Sunday. Of course, a former PGR Series champion, one of the winningest drivers in the field as well on Thursday nights. And, of course, the winner of the qualifying series top split back a couple of nights ago. Let's talk to Daniel Falkingham for NBG Motorsports before we go back green here with 11 laps to go. Dan, it's Dawson in the broadcast booth. You got a copy?
Oh, hey, Dawson. How we doing?
Well, not too bad. Look, a big week for you so far. Obviously looking to get back into the Coca-Cola iRacing Series. You win the top split of the qualifying series back on Wednesday night. And a big week coming into this one as well. Obviously, the first week back on Thursdays. You ran on Sunday in the PGR 500. You know, take me through your week so far as we get back to kind of normal scheduled programming. But talk to me about that win in the top split of the qualifying series the other night as well.
Yeah, it's been a good week. Hey, we couldn't do the repeat on Sunday. Just didn't have the ending of the race we wanted. But glad we get kind of, I guess, back up our kind of poor performance with a big win on Tuesday with the PGR all over the hood. So it's pretty cool that PGR come on board for the qualifying series and to kind of have them be represented up in the eNASCAR ladder, and hopefully we can take them all the way. So, but it was good to get the win on get the win on Tuesday. Also with Wyatt getting his split win as well, and it was a 1-2 with me and Garrett as well, and Caden finished 5th, who's also representing PGR. So yeah, it's been a good. It's been, when I say it's been a historical week for PGR, that's I don't think I'm saying it enough, like how big it's been a week for all y'all guys. So but it's been a great week so far, and hopefully we can continue the hot streak with a win tonight.
Well, very well said. And look, as we get ready to go back to Green Flag Racing, one more thing for you. This Gen 6 car, it's been a little bit since we've run it here on a Thursday night. The runs are crazy. We've seen some chaotic racing tonight. What's the game plan to put yourself in victory lane and become a PGR winner once again?
Yeah, just put yourself in the right place at the right time, because like you said, the runs we've had with this Gen 6 are crazy. It's been a while since we've kind of ran a car that's not the next gen, so everyone's trying to, I guess, knock the rust off again. So we're all figuring it out. It's been a bit of a wreck fest. But you've seen I've had to pull some big blocks too, just like everyone else has, just this style of racing. So definitely ain't the end of the craziness. We still got 11 laps of this shindig left. So yeah, we'll see how it turns out. But I like the spot we're in right now, but still lots of racing to go.
Dan, thanks for your time. Good luck the rest of the way.
All right, thanks, Dawson.
Daniel Falkingham in the 39, looking to get to victory lane here tonight on Thursday. Get after his win back on Tuesday night in the top split of the qualifying series. Want to congratulate, of course, the PGR 500 champion, as if he had not won enough already. Wyatt Gray says, give me one more, and win second split of that qualifying series in the road to the Coca-Cola iRacing Series. Wyatt Gray getting a win there. That could very well put him in decent position to be in that top split at some point. So Wyatt Gray putting his name on the radar to potentially run for a spot in the granddaddy of them all in terms of oval racing on this service. Looking forward to all of those guys continuing to run well. Of course, Caden Diedrich also, and a number of PGR representative drivers in those splits. So good luck to them the rest of the way in that series. But here, business to attend to. 11 laps to go, green flag. Eckert off to the races in car number 12. Nagels will go with him, or will run with him, rather. Drag race back down to turn 1. Falkingham is the push on the outside. McCullough is the push on the bottom side. Eckert down to side draft. Tightest side draft we've seen all night so far. Nagels' run will get parked in its place, or will it? McCullough pushing through him. Bastinez going back through the 0-5 out back. Cars trying to protect their right rear quarter panels as Dylan Jones looked for one around Kirk Quist. One car in the center, that's Wyatt Gray in the 18. No help up there yet. Seipel, I'm surprised he and Bastinez did not jump to get their teammate. Wyatt Gray going backwards in a hurry. He'll go to the help of Landon Velicki. Nagels to the lead here in 3 by a half a car length. He'll get pushed by McCullough. Outside, really only 2 cars are tandem together. That is Eckert and Falkingham. Back off turn 4. 10 laps to go from Daytona. The lights are on. It's nighttime. The racing will only crank up from here. Nagels by a half a car at the line over Eckert. Now McCullough will pull forward to second. That's where the battle is. As again, they have not had much substantial help from behind them. Quist finally gets split. Dylan Jones gets to his right rear. That's going to allow Nick Seipel up the racetrack in the 75. It might very well allow Freddie Bassinez up as well in the 2. No, it's only going to allow Seipel up. Bassinez could not get a spot in line. Pushes out back, getting a little more crazy with Dylan Jones and Nick Seipel as Falkingham has to back off Eckert for a moment to cool that motor into turn 3. Big shot, stack up towards the middle part of the field. Dylan Jones, David Flanagan, Nick Seipel and company. That was a offset push about 5 cars deep. Mellicar throws it on the nose of main, sets 10 rows deep in the field. Single digits this time by, 9 to go. McCullough and Harper have a moment there in the trial as that was an offset push, but they all keep it going. Eckert is the leader at the line as he gets the help finally from Falkingham, Bassinez, and Seipel. So Bassinez does get up bottom and top. front of his teammate Nick Seibel. They're, of course, both with Ethan Eckert. So a couple friendly faces there. Stack up out back. Dylan Jones trying to get Seibel's right rear. Seibel into Flanagan. Somehow we all save it again as those two cars almost went around. Nagels has to go top to bottom as Falkingham splits Eckert into the middle. Eckert will have his teammates, though. Nagel's actually going to bounce off the bottom to Ethan Eckert's help. That's going to allow Josh McCullough to go to the lead. Eckert with a huge save in car number 12. We keep it going for now. Bassinez had to make a monster save out back two. 3 huge saves in a matter of seconds. Trouble. Bassinez makes another one. Welcome back to PGR. Freddie Bassinez, as he had to make 2 huge saves right there in the black number 2. They all keep it going, though. He'll drop all the way to the tail end, 4 wide. Back around the basin machine with Bassinez and a couple of others. They straighten it out. McCullough to the point with Harper and Brian Hennings. Where the heck did Brian Hennings come from? Nagels will jump to the push down low of Axel Smith and Asher Little. A pair of teammates coming back forward after, of course, the penalty earlier to Little. He and his teammate Axel Smith have arrived on the scene. Smith continues to look for his first Thursday win. Out back again, a moment around Seipel, Dylan Jones, and David Flanagan. A moment around Eckert in the center lane. Eckert tries to get around Hennings. Hennings blocks that runoff in the outside lane against the safer barrier. 7 laps to go, trying to crash up back around Kurt Quist. They're all going to keep it straight, or are they? They're trying. They're playing bumper cars. And they all keep it straight. That was Basin, Craighead, Malik Ray, Quist, Corbett, Campbell. They all keep it straight. Now we're 3 wide up front. Bottom side, Asher Little and Wyatt Gray. They'll bring Carson Freeman to the party with them. Top lane is Smith, then McCullough, then Harper, then Hennings. Now Gray jumps up in front of Axel Smith. Asher Little hung in the wind. Nagels is in the center with Eckert and Falkingham. Falkingham going to be the odd man out when they work back down to 3. But no, they'll split right back to the center and hang Asher Little down to Carson Freeman and David Flanagan on the bottom. Wyatt Gray, the PGR 500 champ, back to the point of a Thursday night race, looking to go back-to-back in PGR competition. Off turn 4 and back down to the start-finish line. 6 laps to go this time by Wyatt Gray on the point. Nagels in the center, about a car length back. Then 3 more car lengths back to Asher Little on the bottom side. Nagels goes all the way to the bottom now. That center dissolves. They'll go all the way to the bottom. Seipel through the center in the 75. He'll bring Kenny McCullough and Landon Velicki with him. First time we've seen those 2 cars back up at the front here in a long time. 1 car trying to grab their right rear up top side. Not going to work. McCullough and Harper, that was the battle there. Nagels tried to go around Gray instead. Nagels gets hung out in front of Ashel Smith. Bottom side going to be Wyatt Gray. Then Eckert, then Falkingham that worked through on the bottom side out back. 3 wide, Jones, Hennings, and others. Eckert, monster block off turn 4 is going to stack up that top lane. Nagels and Falkingham both have to save it. Out back, they're going to try to crash. They are going to crash. David Flanagan's around. Corbett, 1 car up and over, barrel rolling. Goes Michael Barksdale. Michael Barksdale does a full barrel roll and lands back on his wheels. Flanagan involved, Ray involved, Corbett, Bassinez, and others. But Michael Barksdale rolls all the way over. Shades of Regan Smith in 2015. Michael Barksdale goes all the way up and over. This was coming off turn number 4. And again, I think this is going to be a stack-up that works back. It may not be. Let's see. Working off turn 4. Flanagan, Bassinez, Velicki, McCullough, and Craighead were trying to get the middle lane working. They were actually about to pick up Cody Nagels. And where's this one going to get sparked up? Oh, it's a bad offset push there from Bassinez to Flanagan. That's going to knock those guys down the track. Bassinez into Barksdale, into Corbett. It's actually Bassinez through Corbett through Flanagan that gets this one started. Malik Ray, nowhere for him to go as he gets pinned to the wall. And watch Barksdale here. Actually looked more like Ryan Priest in last year's Daytona 500 as he monster trucks off David Flanagan and goes for a full 360-degree barrel roll. That's unbelievable. I've never seen that in this Gen 6 race car before. Go back and take another look. From the drone camera, let's see if we can get a close-up drone shot of this, because this is, I mean, again, this doesn't happen very often in this car. You're going to see it spark up there with Bassinez into Corbett, and watch as Flanagan comes back down. Watch Barksdale here go for one of the wildest rides we've seen in a Thursday in a long time as he monster trucks up and airborne, rolls from the left side tires onto the right side tires, and that car does a full barrel roll before coming to rest back on its wheels and he was able to drive away, although the left front, you can tell, is broken. But he was able to drive that car away from the scene of the accident. So a crazy ride there for Barksdale. Try to get one more look at it here. As they worked off turn 4. Again, it's going to spark up in the center lane with Flanagan and Bassinez. Watch this offset push. They all come together. They turn into Corbett. Watch this ride. Oh, my goodness. The fact that he lands on his wheels and then is able to drive that car away, no matter how broken it is incredible to me. It will be a night ender for him on pit road. That left front is completely broken. So it will be a night ender, but a crazy ride for Michael Barksdale. Let's go on board with the 00 really quickly as well. See what he saw out the front windshield. You're on board with Michael Barksdale for one of the craziest rides in PGR history. Wow. And again, he drove it away, but the left front completely immobilized on that 00 Big Red Chevrolet, so his night is over. But my goodness, what a crash towards the backfield. You could kind of tell the time bomb was getting ready to explode at the front of the field with how these guys were racing, some of the pushes, and we saw Nagels, Eckert, Bassinez, Falkingham, and others all have to make big saves at one point in that run. He knew it was going to eventually work its way to the tail end of the field, and there, right there, it did. The lights are out atop the pace car. I believe, as these guys start lap 38, yes, that this will be an organic green-white checkered finish. This is not PGR overtime. This is not the one official overtime attempt that is in the session. This is an organic green-white checkered finish. Just keep that in mind. Again, there is one overtime attempt should we need it, but this will not be it. We are still in regulation. We'll get back going on lap 39. So if a caution happens on this first lap, we'll rack it up and go to overtime. Then the overtime rules will kick in, and we won't have another caution in that final restart attempt. If we make it back to the white flag, this race is official and we'll finish under green. If we do not, we will rack it back up for PGR overtime. Wyatt Gray continues to lead. He would love to go back-to-back in official PGR competition this week and capture another PGR-sanctioned victory. Nathan Harper, it's been a little bit for him since he's gone to victory lane. He'll start from second. Ethan Eckert in third in the Dex Mustang, the red and white car on the inside. Nick Seipel is fourth. And of course, Daniel Falkingham, we know his pedigree. Asher Little and Axel Smith both looking for their first Thursday wins. They're 6th and 7th. Brian Hennings, I thought was 8th. Pardon, that's Josh McCullough back in 8th. Then Cody Nagels is 9th, and Brian Hennings is 10th. Again, an organic green-white checkered finish. This is not the overtime attempt. If we get one more caution, then we will head to overtime. For now, this is still within the bounds of the 40-lap regulation distance of this race. We've seen crazy finishes before. The way the racing's been tonight, we're geared up for one of the craziest ever potentially here in this one. Wyatt Gray, Nathan Harper, and the rest of the field work back into the restart zone. Green flag for a green-white checkered finish at Daytona. Gray off and running. He'll bring his teammate with him and Ethan Eckert. They're not both going to be able to get up. It will only be Gray, and now he's hanging in the middle. Hesitation. He'll move up to Nathan Harper's bumper, though. Ethan Eckert on the bottom. He will have a good pusher in Falkingham, but they'll need more cars to join them on the inside to try to get that run going. That's going to bring Gray. Harper, Seipel clear. Veliky to the center. Further back, he'll bring Melikar to the party with him. Nagel's going to jump trouble. Around goes Falkingham in the 39. This may get kept green as Falkingham got kicked sideways, and it will stay green. Back down to turn 3. When they get back, they're going to see the white flag. Gray pushed back to the front. Seipel side drafting hard on Hennings. Back around the 5th and 6th position. He'll try to block. Nagel's trouble! Nagels turns Seipel in front of the field. Caution is out, and that one been brewing for a minute. They came together the other night. They come together again tonight. Garrett Maines is destroyed. Cody Nagels is destroyed. Nick Seipel is destroyed. Kenny McCullough Jr. is destroyed. Dylan Basin has big damage. Wes Campbell is destroyed. That one had been brewing for a while. Let's go back and take a look. And then I'll tell you what I'm talking about. The race this occurred, I don't believe was broadcasted, so I'll tell you where this whole deal started. But these two, Nagels and Seipel, had been duking it out for about the past 4 to 5 days. It had been going longer than that, but they really had come together the past 4 or 5 days. Seipel, as it is, he runs McCullough and Hennings wide there into the outside safer barrier. Everyone gets through that. Kenny McCullough dives off the safer barrier. He thinks Hennings and Josh McCullough are going to check up. The monster run that Nagels gets. Is Seipel going to try to block this? You bet he is. And they netcode together. Nagels turns him up the racetrack. McCullough nowhere to go for him. Justin Melikar is involved. Here comes Garrett Maines. Out back, Veliky gets into Craighead. Dylan Basin piles in the 4. Kurt Quist is going to pile in. Sean Corbett piles in. Wes Campbell, there he is in the 83. Car scrambled to the bottom trying to get out of this. Multiple cars. Big damage. Kenny McCullough was crab walking. Garrett Maines could not even limp it around the track. Dylan Basin could, but he's got big damage. Seipel and Nagels towed right to pit road. So let's kind of get into the history here. Over the past week or so, these two have come together a number of times in a number of different races. It culminated the other night when there was some side drafting, there was some bumping after a caution flag came out, there were some words exchanged between these two drivers, Seipel and Nagels, and it comes to a head on a Thursday night, coming to the white flag. And again, Nagels is just going to shoot the bottom. He has a run, that top lane had stacked up, and Seipel starts to come down to block. And I know he pulls back up, but the pulling down just a little bit initiates that netcode between he and the 6 and gets Seipel turned around the wrong way. And from there, it's on. You're helpless here if you're McCullough, if you're Melikar, if you're Seipel. I mean, there's just nothing you can do. Maines piles in nowhere for him to go. You see Quist and Corbett, Wes Campbell. Goodness. It comes to a head in turn 3 at Daytona. Let's go on board with the one car that got through this. We're hearing that Cameron Craighead had quite the ride through this one. He was right in front. Right behind where this started. Let's go on board with him. We'll get an idea of what he saw out his front windshield. You're on board with Cameron Craighead as this all erupts in front of him. Oh boy. Makes the save, keeps it off Kurt Quist. So for Craighead, he keeps his race alive in the midst of all of the mess there on the front straightaway. Now we will head into PGR overtime. It will be 2 laps to go. There will be no more cautions. The race will be finished under the green flag no matter what happens on this final restart of the night. So again, we will finish it right here under green, regardless of where the crash is, how many cars it is. It will not matter. We're finishing it right here. 1 green-white checkered attempt, 1 attempt at PGR overtime. Tell you the top 10, Wyatt Gray, Nathan Harper are your top 2. Asher Little and Josh McCullough will line up behind them on row 2. Brian Hennings and Ethan Eckert back on row number 3. Then it's Cameron Craighead, Landon Veliky, Kurt Quist, and Joe Huerta who round out the top 10. Huerta's done a lot of work to get back in this race in 10th. We'll see if he has full speed. And that red 0-1 back around his teammate Landon Veliky. Before we go back green, I will say I don't like to talk on the personal business that a couple of guys had, but I felt it notable there to explain the ongoing altercations, if you will, between Nick Seipel and Cody Nagels, because I think that contributed to Nick Seipel trying to throw a half block right there. When you look out the mirror and it's the guy that you've been going back and forth with, of course, you're going to naturally want to throw your car down and try to make a block. And with it being Seipel and Nagels, obviously it comes to a head right there and collects other cars. Maines involved, Melikar involved, Campbell involved. Guys had nothing to do with it, but such is the state of super speedway racing. Sometimes you can be in a harmless position and get involved in somebody else's mess. So we'll go back to green here again. Overtime is on tap. No more restarts. The wreck could happen to the front of the field, folks. It could happen with Wyatt Gray, Nathan Harper, Asher Little, could be the entire top 10. This race will be finished under green no matter what, pending a post-race review. Of course, all results are unofficial until that post-race review takes place. If there is any necessary, back in the PGR 500, we did need to utilize that post-race review. Dylan Alt was given a post-race end-of-line penalty after a late block in Turn 3 that cost several drivers the win. Handed it to Wyatt Gray. Now Gray is the man at the front of the field. He's on the opposite side of that storyline, if you will, and he will lead the field back to green. We'll finish it right here. PGR overtime on the first Thursday back from the 500. Green flag is back in the air. Green, white, checkered. Wyatt Gray across the line. He'll jump to the help of Nathan Harper. Asher Little on the bottom with Brian Hennings. Out back, Joe Huerta and Landon Veliky almost got squirrely immediately. Hennings will try to push Asher Little. Craighead is on the bottom with them in the 48. The red, orange, yellow, and white Maui. Jim Ford Mustang on the bottom side of the racetrack. They'll get the inside rolling as they work back to the Daytona Super Stretch. Wyatt Gray pushed by Nathan Harper. No bonsai moves from out back yet. I would look towards Landon Veliky and Joe Huerta to be the first two to move out of line. Back around the 8th and 10th positions, respectively. Bassinez starts to make some things happen just outside the top 15. As he works into a spot to potentially contend. Eckert to the center. He'll try to bring Veliky with him. McCullough hung out of line. Harper and Gray will come down to cover. McCullough the odd man out for now as Veliky pushes Eckert through in the center. Huerta goes with him. Back off turn 4. One car on the wall out back. That was Freeman. White flag is up. 1 lap to go as Little looks to the inside for the lead. He's got the biggest push of the day so far from Brian Hennings, but they don't have any other cars down there with him. Huerta and Jones in no man's land in the middle. They'll get help from, I believe, the Bassinez machine in the center. Gray's got the better help up top with Harper, then his teammate Eckert, then Landon Veliky, then the returning Josh McCullough. Down the backstretch for the final time, Wyatt Gray continues to lead. Can he pick up a second straight PGR win and have the best week of his sim racing career? Simplification to single file through turn 3. Harper, the onus will be on him. Axel Smith works out a line out back. It won't go anywhere. Eckert will have to move if he wants his teammate to have a chance to win this race. Off turn 4 for the final time. We'll race it out right here. Gray, Harper to the inside. Eckert goes with him. Drag race for the win at Daytona. At the line, Wyatt Gray. Have a week. In the 18 car, the 500 champ goes back-to-back and wins the Gen 6 race at Daytona. Sunday, he wins a 500-miler for $3,000. Tuesday, he wins second split of the eNASCAR Coca-Cola qualifying series, potentially vaulting himself into a chance to run in the top split going forward. And on Thursday, he wins the PGR Intimidator Superspeedway Series race, his second straight PGR sanctioned victory. And if you think that this doesn't mean anything to him, look at this burnout that he's doing. He's throwing that car in the wall already. Wyatt Gray gets to celebrate. We'll let him do it here on PGR eSports. So for Wyatt Gray, another victory for him in what has been a crazy, crazy week for that driver of the 18. 3 wins in 5 days. The premier weekly Super Speedway Series on the service. His second split of the Road to Pro qualifying series. And now, of course, the 500-miler on Sunday. What a week for Wyatt Gray. He comes home as the winner. Nathan Harper inches short of his first win in a little bit, but a second place is for sure what the doctor ordered for the driver of the Dallas Cowboys Mustang. And Ethan Eckert returns to the PGR podium with a third-place finish in tonight's race. Landon Veliky goes fourth for the Jack Shack, carrying the banner tonight for that team. He and Nathan Harper, actually, in the 4 machine. Josh McCullough goes fifth with Axel Smith in 6th. Freddie Bassinez, great recovery for him after dropping all the way to the tail end. He'll finish 7th. Dylan Jones in 8th. Joe Huerta in 9th. And Falkingham gets the biggest break of all. On that first restart, gets turned out of line. The caution stays furled. He recovers to finish 10th in the final cashing spot tonight. Brian Hennings finishes 11th. Asher Little back in at 12th. Good efforts for both of them. It just did not work out on the final lap. Sean Corbett, 13th. Kurt Quist, respectable run for him in his first PGR start in 14th. Carson Freeman, 15th. Dylan Basin in 16th, rather. Justin Melikar, 17th. Cameron Craighead in 18th. And David Flanagan in 19th. Kenny McCullough in 20th. Wes Campbell, 21st. Garrett Maines, 22nd. Nick Seipel in 23rd. Cody Nagels, 24th. John Ellis in 25th. Malik Ray in 26th. Michael Barksdale in 27th. Stephen Miles in 28th. Matt Patton in 29th. And Dallas Humans finishes in the 30th and final spot in this feature race. Well, it's time to talk to the drivers that placed inside the podium positions tonight from Daytona. They are ready for us, so we will get right to it. As we will start with a man in PGR victory lane, and I gotta imagine one of the happiest guys on the iRacing service this week. I mean, again, have a 5-day period. I'm not sure we've seen a run like this in a very long time, if ever, for a driver to win not only 500 miles on Sunday, the biggest win of his career, to follow that up by winning your second split of the eNASCAR qualifying series, and then to come to PGR weekly series action on Thursday and capture another victory. It's a feat unlike anything we've really ever seen in PGR eSports history. We'll talk to him now. It's the man in PGR victory lane once again, the PGR 500 champ, Wyatt Gray. Wyatt, it's Dawson in the broadcast booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir.
We'll have a week, is the words I used when you cross the start-finish line. You know, that's where we're going to start tonight. Take me through this absolute roller coaster of a week from you. You know, you go and win the PGR 500 on Sunday. That's a huge deal as it is, to come away as only the second ever winner of that race, and in PGR's biggest race ever. You go and win your second split in the eNASCAR qualifying series. Now you come here to the Thursday night, the premier Superspeedway Series on the service. You get another win. Take me through just the emotional roller coaster of this week for you.
Yeah, I said after Sunday, I don't think I'll ever be able to top that win. Then 2 nights later, I win a 7K SOF Road to Pro race, and another 2 nights later, I win this race. I don't really know what's going on, but obviously I have to thank my teammates in this race. Without them, I wouldn't have been able to make it happen.
Well, back to weekly racing on the PGR circuit now, and you know, as we kind of get back to normal, I would say, you know, obviously you get the confidence boost from Sunday, but coming into tonight, the Gen 6 car, how did you approach tonight's race with kind of going back to the crazy runs that we were used to from last summer? How'd you approach it tonight, and how'd you make it into victory lane?
The goal was to pretty much just stay up front the whole race. You know, we did have one pit stop we knew we were going to have, but that got knocked out of the way pretty early with the yellows. So at that point, it was just trying to control the race, which honestly we didn't do a really good job of. I mean, Malik got caught up in a lot of wrecks, as did Nick, Freddie, Miles, but luckily me and Ethan were able to make something happen up there and hold it down.
Well, you do hold it down. You know, you talked about not being able to top Sunday, but obviously we do have to talk about where you go from here. The unlimited confidence that I think you got from this week, you know, has to be in the back of your mind going forward. You know, where does this week take you? Not only on the super speedway side of things, but obviously you talked about the eNASCAR qualifying series win as well. You know, now where does this week take you in terms of where you go from here and your confidence and your mindset as you not only try to continue to chase greatness over here on the super speedway scene, but also potentially take a look at getting into top split for the qualifying series?
Yeah, obviously with the super speedway stuff, I believe tonight's tonight now, the Friday night NIS is broadcasted by iRacing, so that's one last big super speedway race I'm looking at. But after that, obviously it's all focused on the qualifying series. It's not like the super speedways where you can just go in there and win races. Obviously I'm gonna have to put the work in, especially at the tracks like Rockingham and Phoenix, so I'm looking forward to that and hopefully proving that I'm more than just a super speedway driver.
Well, you've had a heck of a week on the super speedway here in Daytona this week. It's a win for you again tonight in PGR victory lane for the Intimidator Superspeedway Series. Before we let you go and celebrate, is there anybody you'd like to thank or shout out?
Yeah, shout out you for broadcasting, Mike and Baker for putting this on, and shout out my teammates tonight. We had Ethan, Nick, Josh, Miles, Freddie, Malik. I think that was everyone.
Well, Wyatt, thanks for your time. Congratulations on another big win. What a week it's been for you. Go enjoy it. Go celebrate. We'll talk to you next time.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
The PGR 500 champ captures another victory tonight in virtual Daytona. We'll move now to the man on the second step of the podium. A good run that he very much needed, I think, in terms of his recent success level. The luck had not been on the side of the driver for the newly branded Jack Shack driver, be it of Nathan Harper. But tonight, he has everything go his way. He was inches short of a win, but certainly second's got to be what the doctor ordered for the driver of the 4. It's Nathan Harper that comes home with second tonight. Nathan, it's Dawson in the broadcast booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir, I do.
Well, obviously, you always want to win. You make a move off turn 4. Is there anything else maybe that you could have done on the last lap to make it one spot better? Or, did you feel pretty content there coming home in second?
Well, I did feel content up until the end. It's like I didn't want to sit in line. And, on that restart, I told Wyatt, because I had no teammates around me, and I was like, all right, man, you know what to do. Just jump the start, jump it really hard, get in front of me, and we're going places. And, I know they're not my teammates anymore, but Wyatt and Ethan, we met each other a long time ago before this money racing started. So, not teammates, but, they're my boys, and, we got a 1, 2, 3. Maybe not as teammates, but as friends, we got the 1, 2, 3, so that was pretty cool. Ethan told me if I was still on Malik's team, he would have went with me, but I was like, nah, it's all good, man. It's nothing personal. But, when you have to, work together, and especially with those guys, they know what they're doing, you can make it work, and we ran it out the podium, so that was pretty cool.
Well, look, a good finish for you tonight, obviously, in this one from Daytona. And, now looking forward, I talked about kind of that the luck hadn't been going your way tonight. It felt like everything lined up for you. Is this a sign of things to come? Or are you back kind of on the comeback train now to where we're going to see you back in contention for these wins on Thursday nights?
Well, duel 2 from last week, I didn't really agree with the call that RC gave me, EOL'd me, and screwed me out of contention. And, I'm not going to lie, that kind of lit a fire under my ass. And tonight, I was being more aggressive than I usually am. I know it was a short race, but, I feel like I'm going to, change my driving style a bit. And, I'm going to go out there and, try to get some finishes together and hopefully more wins. So that EOL motivated me, so it was probably a blessing in disguise. So just going to be more aggressive. That's the mindset.
Well, aggression works for you tonight. Second place here in this one from Daytona. Before we let you go and celebrate just a little bit, is there anybody you'd like to thank or shout out?
Yeah, shout out to my team, Jack Shack, first start under Trevor's sponsorship. Earned him some money, earned myself some money. So that's good. And Ethan and Wyatt, we got the job done. Love to see it.
Well, Nathan, thanks for the time. Congrats on the second place effort tonight. Go enjoy it. Go celebrate. We'll talk to you soon.
Thank you, sir.
Nathan Harper, second in tonight's race from Daytona. Final step of the podium tonight is going to be the aforementioned Ethan Eckert in the 12. Won multiple races in 2025, looking to get back to his rhythm in 2026. He finishes in third tonight from Daytona. Ethan, it's Dawson, the broadcast booth. You get a copy?
I do. This is the first time I've talked to you for a podium, I think.
Well, even if it's not the first time, it has been a little bit for you, at least talking to myself. So, look, third place tonight. Got up front when it mattered. You had a chance. Did you think about making a move there for the win coming through turns 3 and 4? It cleared out. Did you think about making a move, or were you content where you were third in line?
So what I was thinking on the backstretch, I tried backing up to Landon, and I started peaking low, and then going into about middle of turn 3 and 4, he started looking like he was going to try to take my right rear, and then after that I knew I had no help behind me, so I just kind of had to stay content where I'm at, and I got to pick between Harper or Wyatt, and of course I'm going to go with my teammate Wyatt. So even though me and Harper are great friends, you got to choose teammates over friends at that point.
Well, look, a good start to your 2026 so far, and we saw you kind of break out in 2025, multiple wins, trying to get back in that win column here in 2026. So kind of what is your mindset getting into 2026? You've had some good runs already. How do you keep the momentum going that you started last year?
Really just try to stay up front in races, not get wrecked out. Either in the end, that's pretty much it.
Well, third for you tonight here in Daytona in this one, the return back to the weekly series. So before I let you go, I do want to give you an opportunity. Is there anybody you'd like to thank or shout out?
Shout out all my teammates, Wyatt, Malik, Nick, Freddie, Miles, Jimbroni, you for broadcasting, Mike and Baker for putting this on, everyone that raced it. We had 50 entries tonight. That's a big increase from the past month and few months. So Yeah, it's great to see everyone back out here and racing on Thursdays.
Well, Ethan, thanks for the time. Congratulations on the third place run tonight. Go enjoy it. Go celebrate, and we'll talk to you next time.
Thank you.
Ethan Eckert, third tonight from the Daytona International Speedway from the PGR Intimidator Superspeedway Series. We'll start to wrap things up from Daytona. A fun one tonight from the High Banks, the World Center of Racing, as the Gen 6 cars made their return to PGR competition. And who else to go to victory lane than the defending winner of the PGR 500 from just 4 days ago, Wyatt Gray, gets the victory here tonight on Thursday night and continues what has been a roller coaster of a 5-day period for him. Again, 500-mile win on Sunday, a split win in the Road to Pro qualifying series on Tuesday, now a PGR win on Thursday night. A heck of a week for the driver of the 18, Wyatt Gray. Coming up tomorrow night, it's the Dega Pro Stars and Stripes Shootout Series here on PGR Esports Network, along with the Midnight Racing League's Contender Series. Both will be streamed live here on PGR Esports. PGR Esports Sunday Fun Day returns on Sunday night, I would assume. After a week off of the PGR 500, that series will come back as well, also be live here on PGR Esports Network. Starting into next week, I do want to tell you the VRX Lite Series is going to be returning not next week, but it will be soon. The schedule has been drafted, and things are getting prepared. The format is getting tinkered with, and we are almost ready to go racing in the Lite Series. I hope to be back as a part of that, whether on track or up here in the broadcast booth with you. Hoping to be a part of that series as well. Looking forward to getting back on track for the Lite Series here in just a few weeks. One of the best series that we run here in PGR Esports. That one's going to be fun. It's coming back on Monday nights here soon. Of course, next Tuesday is the Challenger Cup Series as we begin our regular season with Daytona. I'll have you for the call here on PGR Esports Network. And then Wednesday there's going to be a couple of different things. First off, the PGR Esports Better Half Dash, where the wives, girlfriends, significant others, sisters, mothers, whoever, important females, if you will, in the lives of these drivers, will get onto the sim rigs and we'll run some laps and we'll run a race and see who is the best of the best. Best of the females amongst the group. That's a fun race. Last year was so much fun. It was a great time. We were all having a really fun time up in the broadcast booth. We had a lot of us up in the broadcast booth. We were just having a really fun time, and all the drivers had a fun time with it as well. So looking forward to having you for that one. I won't be on the call for that one, but it should be a fun one. Tune into that. And of course, I think for the first time next week, Moonshiners Racing League's GMD Janitorial Cup Series will be live here on PGR Esports Network. Justin Prince on the call, myself on color commentary, and of course our wonderful producer DJ Lyon on the production controls as we open the regular season for that series on Wednesday next week from Daytona as well. Next Thursday night, we're back for the Intimidator Superspeedway Series as well. As we get back into the swing of things, we're headed back to Atlanta as we bring the next-gen cars to the Atlanta Motor Speedway next week in what should be a really interesting combination with the tire wear and the way that track races. Such a unique style that you have to have at Atlanta. That one's going to be a lot of fun. That's coming up next week on Thursday night. And do want to put it on your radar now. Returning for another year, it is the PGR Esports March Madness Tournament. It will start coming up here in 2 weeks from tonight is when that will get started. The final Thursday in February, February 26th, ARCA Cars at Talladega will be the round of 32, and then it will work down from there. March 5th, the round of 16, the Legacy Gen 4 back here at Daytona. The Elite 8 will be trucks at the Atlanta Motor Speedway. The Final 4 on March 19th will be Xfinity at Daytona, and the championship race, March 26th, Gen 6 at Talladega. That tournament has been some of the most fun that we have had here at PGR Esports, and it returns again in 2026. Put that on your radar. It's coming up before you know it. 2 weeks from tonight will be the first time March Madness returns to the track. That's going to wrap it up tonight from Daytona. Want to thank the Variety Pack Racing folks for their support of tonight's race. Go check out Variety Pack Racing and the VPR 500 coming up next weekend, February 20th and 21st. Wyatt Gray and Nathan Harper now on a wheel spin for a guaranteed entry into the 500 coming up next weekend, thanks to the folks over there at VPR and specifically Brandon Broadfoot. So thanks to those folks for their support. Want to thank you all for coming out and watching on a Thursday night. Enjoyed having you with me here from the World Center of Racing at Daytona. Hope to see you back for all of the PGR content. We've got a lot of exciting things coming up here in the future. A lot of stuff that we're going to get ready to announce over the next couple of weeks. Looking forward to having you with us for all of it. My name is Dawson Wise. You've been watching PGR Esports. Wyatt Gray continues his monster week as he wins the Intimidator Superspeedway Series return at Daytona, his third win in 5 days on a super speedway. Congrats to Wyatt on the win. I thank you all so much for coming out with me. Until next time, again, I'm Dawson Wise. You've been watching this production of the PGR Esports Network. Until next time, so long.